Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another Saturday. You've arrived at this show. It seems like you were only here just a second ago. Doesn't that feel weird how the weeks just kind of come so quickly? Anyway, it's really good to have you. Thanks to all the people who have joined us for the first time. A big welcome to you. And we've got quite a few guests here today, and obviously we've got a special guest. So let's start by saying hello to everyone. I can hear myself back in someone's feed. It might be yours, Dean. Because it only just started happening. So we'll start with saying hello to Darren, because I know his microphone works beautifully. Hi Darren, how's your week been?
Hello everybody, Franz, Andy, Dean. Yeah, it's been okay. It's not been too bad. Just been working away on music really. Not really done much other than that. Well, apart from working. Someone's hitting a synth.
Yeah, it's probably Loki.
Yeah, not guilty.
Cool. I'll go to Andy next. Big welcome to you, Andy. Thanks for joining us. How's your week been?
Yeah, hi everyone, hi folks. Week. Yeah, I've had a fun week actually. It's back in school with all the lovely little darlings, and my new modules have arrived. Yeah, finally got them. So I've got the 110 from Behringer and the dual envelope LFO from Behringer and the Z5000 effects module from Tip Top, which is great. I've only just scratched the surface of that one, but that's been great. That's been great fun. Really enjoyed that one. So yeah, more noodlings.
Yeah, fantastic, awesome. And Dean's popped in as well, and we'll go to Dean next, and I think Dean is this button. How are you, Dean? How's your week been?
Yeah, good, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, we can hear you. A little bit clicky when you're moving the mic around, but yep, should be good.
All good now. Yeah, great, thank you. Had a really good week. It's great to be back and seeing everybody. It was good fun in the chat last week. Really enjoyed that. So, yeah, been busy. Got the guitar pedals at the back here now, and had Steve come down doing some drumming. So I was like nicking all the ideas of his timings and stuff for my sequencing, my cheat drums. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a good fun week. Really been enjoying it. So.
Beautiful. Now your levels are just a little bit low. I'm sure the guys in chat will probably agree. So
cool.
We might need to play with those as we go. And also this week we have a special guest, and I don't know if he's ready to talk yet.
I can talk.
You can talk. All right. So we're going to say.
I just don't know if I can get on the video at the same time. It's the only challenge.
Oh, okay. So we're going to say a big warm welcome to Loki. I'm still hearing myself back through you, Dean. So I don't know if you've got it coming out your headphones loud or something. Anyway, big welcome to you, Loki. Thanks for joining us. Now, if you're wondering who Loki is, he's from. I mean, obviously you haven't been reading any of the graphics that we've been putting up all week, but anyway, he's from Poly Effects. Now he's based in Melbourne, and I just want you guys to know that it's probably after midnight there or very close to it. So please bear with him because it is
1 a.m. here.
Yeah, there you go, 1 a.m. in the morning. So it was really awesome of him to join us. Yeah, so over to you, mate. Just say hi to everyone and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Loki.
Is
these levels okay?
You're still coming out on the left channel.
I'm unsure how to mono things in this magical system that you've got.
Okay. You can turn the force stereo thing off.
Oh, yeah. I think it is off.
Oh, is it?
Okay. I can try and poke it.
Nothing wrong with poking things. Poke it, I say. Give it a poke. Is he back yet? No, that hasn't changed.
Force stereo. Yep, no, force stereo is off.
Yeah, no, it hasn't fixed it. That's okay.
You have me in one ear.
That we've just got you in one ear. Now I can probably fix that from here. Let me see if I can do it.
See if you can work magic.
Let me just.
You hear me all right, and man?
Yeah, we can hear you, mate.
Bit louder.
A little bit louder. Yeah, that's good. I can't think of what I need to do just off the top of my head right now. Hang on, I think it might be in this other setting. There should be a thing where it says No, I can't see it off the top of my head. I know it's here somewhere, but it's too hard to find with a million tick checkbox options on this software in front of my face, and you're sort of struggling to find it. Look, we'll persevere. Have you got any audio coming through just with the synth stuff? I just want to see if that's coming through both channels while we've got you.
Yeah, I don't think I think I'll have to swap channels for those ones because I've got those in my other channels, and I don't know how to map all of them to this program.
Okay, so there's not like a master coming out as such.
No, I've just plugged them into all different channels in the interface. So
Right.
this one will probably be the other ones. I don't actually. I'm not sure. This program just gave me like random channels to choose from, and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to map many of them, please.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if you could choose like the OBS audio as an output or something, maybe. And
yeah, that's what I was hoping for, but it doesn't.
It doesn't
seem
okay.
to let me. Not that I could see, but it might be an option I didn't glance at.
Okay.
So I think I just have to switch channels when I want to speak versus show anything audio-ish from the gear.
Yeah. Okay. We shall
Unless
persevere.
I can work out something cunning in the meantime.
Yeah. Oh, look. In the meantime, we've got little segments that we can go through, and I can have a play while we're doing those as well. So.
Cool. But yeah, I can give you the rough idea of things.
Yeah. So, do you want to first just introduce yourself, I guess, and then what your company is, and yeah, go from there.
Yep. So I'm Loki from PolyFX. We make synths and guitar pedals, well, effects pedals.
Yeah.
We've also in the past made weird MIDI controllers.
Yeah.
Which you might have seen some of around the place. So yeah, we've been making some pedals. Bebo is the most famous one, probably. And in the past we made one called Digit, which they've now merged into one magical super pedal. And yeah, I made a multi-dimensional expressive MIDI controller before as well, and some other weird stuff in the past before that. But yeah, Bebo's really been the one that's got the attention now. So it's a modular environment where you can route things, and we've announced this one earlier this year, which is Hector.
Mm-hmm.
This one here. And it's exactly the same software, same firmware as Bebo, but it's running in a Eurorack environment. So otherwise all the same stuff. You can load the same patches from both, and all modules are available.
Yeah, so you've got the interchangeable firmware.
The firmware are all merged into one now, so all modules are available in a single firmware.
Wow. Okay.
So previously the convolution reverb stuff and the cabs and the amp sims, they were available in the Digit side, and then all the modulation stuff. I'll just pop some of those up. So we'll see we have a lot of reverbs and choruses and stuff like that here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so you'll see that this is a convolution reverb, whereas up here we've got an algorithmic reverb and things like that. So this has got all of the modulation stuff, all of the phases, all the flanges, etc. Well, they're just the basic effects modules, and then it has all of the synthesis modules, like the metamodulator, the macro oscillators, all of those things. So it has ports of all of the older mutable instrument modules, obviously not the very latest one, but all the other mutable instruments modules have been ported to this.
Yeah,
well as
I was reading that you've got like clouds in there and grids.
Yep.
And yeah. What else?
Marbles and
wow.
So the multi-resonator here that's rings.
Mm-hmm.
The metamodulation is warps. Macro oscillator is plats.
Yep.
So she recommends not to use the same names for the modules.
Yeah.
So that's why they're I've got, and also I think these names in our context are more easier to work out what they do. Just because there's a lot of modules here, and then obviously there's lots of other modules that aren't from the same ports, filters and stuff like that, and all of them have lots of control surface sources that you can't see there. So there's lots and lots of ways you can route control around sequences. I can drop in a sequencer, so we can just draw some notes there.
Little step sequencer, yep.
Yep, you can see we can draw stuff in very easily. Obviously, you see it's a touchscreen.
Yeah.
as our other stuff is all touchscreens as well.
So
So I've got that.
So maybe what I'll do is I'll quickly just sort of introduce, just so, because people may not be aware of poly effects, and because I guess unless they've kind of come from the guitar world, they may not be. And I think they should have, because most of them follow this, most of the news places. But you guys started off with Digit, and then Bebo came out, and then you kind of started saying, well, you can load Digit and Bebo firmware on both pedals, and just so that they kind of know, well, Digit was kind of, all those sort of cool effects like speaker cabinet controls and rotaries, and then you had your sort of modulation effects like chorus and flanger and things like that, and also it's quite well known for its multi-point delays and getting crafty with that sort of stuff. And then you brought Bebo out, and Bebo was kind of more the synth stuff, and so that kind
and the
of
weirder
had,
end of modulation,
and that kind of had some really funky stuff that people could create their own sort of patches in it, and I'll get you to show that in a sec. And things like macro oscillators, a lot of the, like you said, the mutable stuff is in there. And I think there's a generative drum sequencer in there too, which is pretty cool. So that's all stuff that's already been out, available with the guitar pedal, the Bebo or the Digit. So, but now the Hector, which is what we're seeing here, is your new creation, and basically it's exactly the same guts inside. The software is the same inside, but now it's going to be delivered in a Eurorack format. So can you just tell us a little bit about the patchable side of it? What are we able to patch in and out? Kind of what are those 3.5 millimeter things available to us there?
Yep. So you'll see there's a bunch of them just here. So there's 6 inputs and 8 outputs. They're all DC coupled. Mm-hmm. So you can route, CVs in and out of all of them, or audio. There's no delineation between audio inputs and CV inputs here. So, some things with multiple ins and outs have some that are dedicated for triggers, some that are dedicated for CV, and some that are dedicated for audio.
Yep.
I think that's a bit more limiting. So these ones are all anything you want. Yep. You can route them any way you want. Then there's MIDI in and out on 3.5 mil. TRS, and then there's USB, which you can use also for MIDI in and out as a host, or you can use it to load impulse responses on, or save presets off, and those kind of things. So the reverbs, if I pull up one of them, if we add a reverb, see, we can add lots and lots of modules, but mono reverb maybe. So if we add one of those, you'll see there's lots and lots of reverbs, EMT plates, oil cans, all these kind of things. So these are all impulse responses, and you can grab real spaces yourself. You can import your own spaces into this. So you can do that with the USB drive as well. Mm-hmm.
So you can create your own basic reverb patch, and you can save that to and recall that whenever you want, and then route and you can to one of your outputs. Yeah. So you can route those. So you can also, one of the patches I was running here, I had one of these outputs routing over to the filter I have next to it, and that was just, this filter was only acting upon this delay that I was routing out to that output. Because you can route stuff to any output. You can route CVs and stuff around the same. So for instance, if I want to route this step sequencer, I can route pitch into this macro oscillator easily. So I can just select that, multi-touch that guy, and then it'll ask me where I want to route that sequencer into. Mm-hmm. And I can choose volt per octave if I want to route pitch. Beautiful. That'll be, you might want to run that through a quantizer first, and there's a quantizer and stuff in there as well. Oh, wow. Now, I'm also hearing, and a lot of people have been feeding me information to ask you questions, so we'll get to some of those in a minute, but I'm also hearing that you've also been working on a new looper, and I think a lot of people have been very keen to see that. So I did get some screen grabs off your website of the looper, and I don't know how old these are, but I'll just quickly show you because you'll see it on the feed here. So this is the looper that was in the Digit thing. I think this was going back a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I can show you a more recent looper than that if you want.
Yeah.
I will have to move things a little bit.
Yeah. Because
no, 1 sec, I'll just grab it. Success, I've grabbed the other thing. Because I don't have the latest looper running on Hector at the moment. I haven't uploaded it to that one. But I have it running on my development Bebo that I've got next to it. So, which I've just realised before I show it to anybody, I'm going to have to give it a wipe down because my hands were sticky. Which is the one downside of touchscreens. All right, that's looking a bit cleaner now. Okay, I'm just going to have to rotate my camera to point at that one. So, sorry about the bounces here.
This is the Poly. This is basically the guitar pedal version that you're showing now.
Yep, exactly. And sorry, 1 second. I just got a bit of reflection going on there, but hopefully that'll help. I'll just attempt to focus. Hopefully that's looking okay for you.
Yeah.
So I'll just show you what the looper looks like now. He says with medium confidence. Oh, okay. I probably haven't actually turned this one on because this is my development unit. So 1 second. I'll try and turn this one on off again. Yeah, because I had the debugging stuff plugged into it. Yeah. Hold that thought for a second.
Yeah,
I'll show you how the looper looks over there.
We'll hold. Don't look here. Look somewhere else.
I can glance at the other looper. I can show you the picture of the other one. So this will eventually start up and I can show you what the looper actually looks like. This bit wasn't tested necessarily beforehand. Because the looper will be coming out probably pretty soon. Okay, now we're back in hopeful action. Yes, it'll do things. I've unplugged the debugging. So I will check out a looper. Looper coming in. Looper. Cool. Yes, there we have a looper.
Beautiful.
I'm not sure if you can you, is that relatively in focus? Can you sort of see things?
I can see it. And I'm only looking at it at a smaller window, so I'm sure if the other guys are watching this full screen, they'd see it even better than me. So it looks pretty good to me.
So good. So you'll see that
it's pretty clear, Ramsey.
Nice. So you'll see there's all the commands here. These are the basic command set. So there's overdubs, replace, solo, inserts, multiplies, all these kind of things. Infinite undo and redo buffers. You can add multiple loops at once. Those loops can be made up of multiple cycles. You can obviously reverse and change the rate of each one. They can be quantized against each other in different ways. So you've got a range of different quantization options. These are all different kind of behaviors of the loops. And yeah, down in global, we've got how they quantize. So you can either quantize against loops, against eighth notes inside a cycle. And to BPM. Yeah, there was another thing. So you can quantize against all of those things. You can fade loops in between each other, all the basic stuff. You can choose whether sync is at the beginning of a phrase or not, and whether mute and things like that, whether all the actions are quantized or not. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you can add it basically as many loops as you want. And all of this is MIDI bindable. All of the actions are, all of the controls are. It's got threshold starts, feedback.
Is it MIDI controllable? Just had one of the guys in chat just asked.
Yeah, fully. Everything's bindable to MIDI.
Wow.
So all of the actions are, all of the buttons are, all of these commands are, all of these sliders are. So if you want to change, the pitch from MIDI or the rate or anything, you can.
Fantastic.
Or the feedback, any of these things can be changed from MIDI. And you can have those actions affect, if you want to bind, if you want to bind any of the loop commands, so I just hit record on this loop and it starts recording and it shows you the cycle time and stuff. You can bind that to MIDI for just this loop, and then you can have different bindings for each loop, or you can bind them for all loops.
Nice.
So, all the kind of basic behaviors and some quite, more advanced behaviors, time stretching, things like that.
Yeah, fantastic.
And the neat thing is also that these can all be controlled over the internal CV stuff. And you can also route each of the loops individually.
Right.
So you can,
to different
you
outputs.
could, or to different modules.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Because say you wanted to have a loop that is actually just the output of one of your delays or your reverb tail, and then you want to reverse that and then scratch it or cut it up somehow, or do those kind of things. Pitch shift it down, etc. You can do all of those things and edit it, and then have it trigger based on other events, micro sampling files kind of style.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of one of the ideas with the looper.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's get to some sort of, businessy side of stuff. So at the moment, you can order the Poly FX pedals as you're seeing there.
Yeah, Bebo. Yep.
The Bebo, yeah. So how much are they at the moment retailing for?
$449 US.
Yep. And I've just put your link in the chat so guys can click on that and have a look at that later if they like. Now, do you have any idea what the Hector's going to be retailing for yet, or is that still TBA?
Probably $599.
Okay. And
So-
when do you think that I know you've got the thing on there where we can express interest, right? But when do you think that might be possibly shipping? Or is it too early to tell?
Probably, I think in about 2 months.
Wow. Okay, that's actually quite soon. I mean, that'll come around pretty quick.
Yeah. There isn't really anything. We need to work out the start screen for it. There's one bit of software I want to finish for it, which I'm not sure if do you have an image of the otherwise I could probably share my computer screen somehow.
I've got this.
Oh no, I meant do you have an image of the Euclidean sequencer?
Yes, I do. This.
Yeah, that's the one. That's that guy. Yep. That's the Euclidean sequencer.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get
Joe,
my hands on this.
Yeah, Joe, the designer, did a good job on the look of these ones. I think we did a good.
She did, yes. Now she did your website too, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, she's talented.
Doing good.
Very good.
Yeah. She also does the assembly with me, so there's three
wow.
of us doing assembly. Jennifer, Joe, and myself. So that Euclidean sequence is the main feature that still has to be worked on for the Hector release. It's one of the things I want to have in for release, just because I think it's a really fun sequencer, and it's going to be really satisfying in the kind of Eurorack context. It's not as important in the. It's good. It's still in the pedal context, but it's going to be more useful. A lot of people are using this already in a synth context.
Yeah.
You'll see people with Eurorack setups and this setting off to the side.
Yep.
But I think it'll be, more important once you have all these inputs and outputs. This one's got 4 ins and 4 outs, but they're not DC coupled.
Right.
So you have to send things in and out over MIDI. Whereas that one, you'll have all these other options to sequence the other things around you with all of those, with that stuff.
Yeah, right. Now, let me just tell the guys a little bit about. Now, this is information that I didn't get from you, Loki. So I got this from some interview that you did last year.
Okay. Well, okay.
It's public, right? What could possibly go wrong? So,
I'm looking forward to see what it is.
So apparently you worked before 2016, when you were doing Poly effects since about 2016, but you worked on some other projects prior to doing poly effects. And I'm kind of, the reason why I'm telling people this is to sort of get a little bit of a background, a bit of information about you. So I think it's mentioned something about Bitwig and Pure Data and some sort of projects with those people. And you also, which I found really interesting, is you studied at Monash University, which is a university in Melbourne in Australia. And you also went to uni, how do you pronounce this? Ulm?
Yeah. Universität Ulm. Yeah,
Okay.
Ulm.
It's in Germany. And apparently you did a minor thesis on a sequencer. So, we're
a
all
sampler.
A sampler, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
We're all going to love this stuff, right?
My I don't even know how you found that one up, but okay. That was a long time ago. Very, very long time ago. But yeah, my minor thesis was on a sampler. And my postgrad stuff was on drum synthesis.
Yeah, physical modeling. Yeah, at Monash,
and drums,
right?
Yep. Yeah, and that's what my research was on.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, my background's computer science, so we're all sort of in good company at the moment. Now,
I've forgotten all the scary maths from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not go to discrete maths.
It was a long time ago, and it was scary maths, so I can't really remember it very well.
I absolutely have no idea how I got a high distinction in maths. Anyway, I also heard that when you were younger, you had an MKS7 that you used to play with, which is a kind of funky, cool Roland bit of kit. That's kind of like a hybrid between a Juno and a TR-909. It's got a whole bunch of... 707. Oh, 707, sorry. Yeah, 707. Yeah, so, and that kind of got you interested in all this.
Yeah, that is part of the origin story. I grew up on a farm I was born in central Queensland. If you're familiar with Australia, that's in the middle of bloody nowhere.
Yep.
Crocodiles and rednecks. And I didn't particularly fit in fantastically well in this environment. But one day, when I was about 16, I think, 15 or 16, there was this teacher at my school that had this thing at the back of his office, just sitting in the corner. And I said, "Oh, what's that?" He's like, "Oh, that old music box, that's not worth anything." And I said, "Oh, cool. Can I give you $10 for it then? If it's not worth anything?" He's like, "Yeah, it's this whole random thing. You don't need it for anything." And I'm like, "Oh, can I get it though?" And I did, and it was the MKS7, and I got it for $10.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then I took that home and
hang on to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually sold it many years later because I was desperately short of money when I was at uni.
As we all
but
do.
I sold it for more than $10. I sold it for more than $10. I still did okay. So I a rack mount synth with no controls basically isn't an easy starting point.
Absolutely.
And I'd been playing with software synths a little bit before that, trackers and stuff like that. But yeah, the MKS7, and that was probably, I realized it was only about 10 years old when I got it, probably. Because I think it came out in 85 or something like that.
Right.
So, maybe no, it's probably 15 years old or something like that. It was not super old when I got it. I always thought it was this ancient thing when I got it, but actually wasn't that old. But yeah, so I kind of started tinkering with this thing and had to work out how to vaguely navigate my way around this thing. And then I realized that I'll just open it up and see, the front panel isn't easy to use.
Very uneasy to use.
Yeah, so I ended up trying to see if I could get different sounds by just taking the screws off and poking around inside.
All right, cool.
That didn't work very well, but it was a good learning experience, and I did learn a lot of it. I didn't break it either, so it did keep working. So,
awesome.
That was
I think Mylar Melodies did quite a good video on the MKS7.
It's actually a fun toy.
It's a really quite an unusual box. Sort of essentially like three Junos and a 707 stuck in a box, but you can't do anything with them. God, that picture's blooming awful.
You can over MIDI. It's really fun over MIDI, actually.
There we go. We'll shrink everyone down.
You can control it really well over SysX.
Yes, it's got good
If you-
SysX implementation.
If you're clever and can do maths.
Yeah, well, that's Loki.
Yeah. I mean, when I was at that age, I just
not
didn't
right.
have the equipment or I didn't really have the equipment or the the skills to work with it. But that was actually kind of good because I had this thing that was the only instrument, like the only of that type of instrument I had or could afford. And so it kind of drove me to, try and understand.
Fantastic. Well, sorry to put you on the spot there, Loki, but I thought, it just puts you
totally.
into the real world with us all, and it gives people an idea a little bit about who you are behind. It's a small effects business that you've got there, but and like you said before, you've got a couple of other people helping you out. But the actual story about how you got there and you sort of started in your garage, but you kind of have a workshop and all that sort of stuff was really quite interesting. And what I will do is I will link that. It's I think it was Future Music the article came from. So I will link that into the description of the video.
There's a few things around there.
Well, you're getting yourself out there now, so you can't really hide anymore.
Well, Well, none of that stuff was too embarrassing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, there was another picture that I discovered on your Facebook site, because I'm a bit nerdy when it comes to this sort of stuff, and that is this really cool photograph that you put up because Melbourne had a lockdown. I know when I say this, everyone that's watching, most people are from Europe and the UK that watch this show, and so they're like, they had a lockdown? We have lockdowns all the time. What do you mean they had a lockdown? So we've kind of got to put it into context for those guys. In Australia, we don't have too much COVID lockdowns, but when earlier this year, Melbourne had about a week or so the lockdown, and he was just talking to everyone about how he's still going to try and see if he can get the orders shipped out. And here's some raw-looking circuit boards. And I thought it's a good segue, Lockie, to ask you a little bit about under the hood. What sort of processor are you using to make this thing click? And is it some sort of special thing that you can't tell anyone about?
No.
If
you can cope with a bit of motion sickness, I can show you more of the rest if you want.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, let's get you.
I'll have to turn on a few more lights in the workshop. There might be a bit more reflections, but I can
absolutely
give you a little bit more of the tour. Yeah, one sec. I'll just turn on a few more lights.
I'll go to here while we're waiting. So, guys, in chat, while we're waiting for Loki to get himself set up,
we have action.
Time to ask him some questions. So what I'll do is, if you just flag my name at Ramsey in the chat, and if you want to ask Lockie a question, I'll relay it directly to him. All right, Lockie, go for it. We'll go you full screen now.
All right. I'm just going to have to talk loudly because I'm going to be walking around a little bit, but okay, there we go. So I'm not sure how motion sickness this will be, but so... So here's the bit where we autofocus. Thank you. That's this is my desk where I do the programming part of things. Then we've got giant boxes. There's 700 kilos of aluminium over here. So they're boxes filled with. So they come back from the anodizer. So you'll see over here, their tops and bottoms ready to go. The tops and bottoms have been assembled.
Wow.
So here's our packing area. And you see over on the other side down there, that's where the tops are assembled. And over here, you'll see with the microscope, that's the soldering area.
Yep. Yeah, the heat extractor, the fume extractor as well.
Yeah, and the stereo microscope and a hot air and stuff. And there's my satisfying screwdriver collection, which I'm quite proud of now. And then, so these are just some tops that are ready to go. They're all being assembled. There's some bottoms. So there are all of those ones. And so this is some of these are some units that are ready to go.
Wow, beautiful.
So they'll be going off in a couple of days, well, probably Monday, to their new homes. And you'll see that this is my assembly area. Here's some that are ready to test.
Fantastic.
These are some of the silver. These are the silver limited edition. It's probably hard to see because they're blue on the background, but yeah. silver limited editions, and then these are blue units, which they're going to be tested next. So Jennifer and I assembled them on Friday, and I'm just about to test them. And this is, screwdriver and testing gear over here, and then there's just this bench has just got parts and random stuff, and then there's the toaster oven.
Oh, that's important.
Which is used for surface mount stuff as well.
Yes.
So you bake parts in that one. And then, Hector over here. And then this is just some test gear for Hector. And then, parts-wise, we'll have a little bit of a tour of that. Here's some panels that are ready to go, that are the screens that are in it.
Yep, that's your multi-touch display.
Yep. So they're, they come as a panel that we buy from the screen manufacturer.
Now, they're a 5-inch, aren't they? They're a 5-inch screen, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
5-inch screen. I am actually looking right now, I'm just actually looking for another panel manufacturer because 5-inch panels are becoming a little bit more difficult to buy.
Yeah, because they're sort of going for 7 now, aren't they?
Yeah, and I can't fit a 7 easily, and it'll just be too big. So there's a 5.5 that I'm looking at, and I'm just going to see, availability of those different units. So at the moment they're these 5-inch panels. I'll have to plug myself in to pick any of that stuff up. 1 sec. I'll just see if I can find one of my ESD straps. This one's Jennifer's, and it's way too small for my wrist. Ow. So now I can pick stuff up. She has much smaller wrists than I do.
So what Loki's saying...
Sorry for the motion sickness.
Just so you guys know, what Loki's actually saying is he's going to put a electrostatic discharge wristband on so that he can actually touch the gear. So you can see it on his hand just there. That's what he meant.
So that's why all the benches have this blue stuff on them as well. See, all the benches over there have the same blue stuff. And they're all plugged into the ground so they don't get problems. 1 sec, I have to plug this guy in. Sorry about the camera work here. There we go. All right, now we can maneuver over to these sections. So here's a board that's done, soldered.
Beautiful.
So I can pick that guy up. You'll see the connectors on them. This is this big chip here. That's the audio codec.
Yep.
This is the opto coupler for the MIDI. It's the other big annoying chip.
Yes.
Power section. This is how the panel connects up. These are foot switches to connect up. This is the CPU module, RAM, power controller, and these are all the op amps.
Is that an ARM processor? I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah. It's a quad core ARM.
Yep.
Running at I think 1.3 gigahertz. I've got set at the moment. 2 gig of RAM with nice fast flash RAM, nice fast RAM, and then 16 gig of flash.
Fantastic.
Quad core ARM, and it's a 64-bit ARM. It's the A53s. So they're quite a nice fast chip.
Yeah, it's good.
There is some challenge of using that kind of stuff.
I was going to say, I noticed on your GUI that you've actually got a DSP percentage usage, or is it CPU percentage usage? I forget what it actually said. It was pretty interesting.
So that will show the total amount of time basically left for DSP. I'll show you one other little challenge of using these kind of boards. If I can focus on it. See these lines here? See these lines in this bit? I'm not sure if you can see them accurately.
The traces, yeah.
Yeah, see the traces, how they've got little squiggles in them?
Yep.
That's because all of these traces have to arrive at the same time to this part.
Yeah.
So they all have to end up being the exact same length. Because the communication's so fast, they have to all be balanced traces.
Yeah.
So they're all differentially paired and squiggles and stuff to make them all arrive at exactly the same time.
And people look at that and they probably just think, wow, that looks pretty.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Turns out it's a thing you have to work out. Yeah, because it doesn't work if you don't. But yeah, that's one of the little challenges there. But yeah, sorry, I think I just interrupted your previous question. But
No, that's fine. I've actually asked a few people in chat to ask questions, but we're just still waiting for those to come in, so that's fine. I do have one if you want to. I'll just go to us. So Sasquatch in chat says, has Loki considered using a phone screen And what micro and which language does he use? Okay, so we already did the micro. The language is an assembly-based language on that processor, right? So you could probably.
Oh no!
that
So
more.
you no. Yeah, oh, cool. Sorry, I'll just drop this camera back so I'm not giving everybody motion sickness constantly. Unless there's something else you want to see on the. This is my this is my main test equipment, and then I have these guys as well for synths.
Yeah, we saw that before. Yep.
Yep. And the Telecaster hiding down there. I play guitar and bass as my main instruments, as well as synth stuff.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I play synths obviously for a long time, but also guitar and bass. Sorry, I think we're back with camera. Hopefully that's okay-ish.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right. Yeah, so and I play electric and upright bass, so double bass as well. No, programming language is actually a pretty diverse collection. There's a lot of different programming languages I use for different things. So because I have pretty much a full operate, it's not like I'm coding. ARM makes a lot of different chips.
Mm-hmm.
So they make the really low end stuff that's micros, and they make the full CPU end stuff like this stuff is the quad core 64-bit stuff. So this is very similar to programming for an x86 CPU.
Yeah.
So I write some of it in a DSP language called Faust.
Yep.
And I write some of it in C, and I write other bits in C++, and I write some bits in Python, and I write some of the UI in this thing called QML.
Yes.
So there's a giant collection of different languages and programming environments, and because there's about 98 modules I think now.
Wow.
So there's a lot of content.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll just turn that other light behind me off as well because it's bouncing off the screen. 1 second. So yeah, there's a lot of different stuff going on there programming wise. I can't remember what the other bit of the question was. Chip, programming language. Was there something else?
Considered using a phone screen was the other thing.
Oh yeah, that is a phone screen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why you can get screens that are such high quality at such low cost. Because if you're using a non-phone screen, they're garbage quality and they're incredibly expensive. If you want something that's high resolution, I wanted something that was, at least kind of, an HD-ish resolution. I was looking at least 720p or higher, and I wanted good colors, good angles, and all those kind of things. Because I wanted it to be really nice, usable, and fast, and look like a proper, sharp, modern screen, not something garbage. And that really rules out anything that isn't a phone screen.
Yeah.
Because the industrial modules are just kind of garbage looking. I tried them. They're a lot easier to work with is the great advantage of them. Because they're all designed to be easy to use, whereas the phone screens are not designed to be easy to use at all. They're designed to be power efficient and good looking and cheap. So yeah, they're really, really difficult to use, but they're excellent once you put in the effort.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Okay, so a couple of people mentioned, are we going to see what Loki looks like? I guess they're talking about seeing your face.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And
I can rotate and sit somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah. And the other question that just came in was from Andrew. He's actually based in Queensland, so we do have a couple of Aussies in here, which is amazing, considering that it's so late over here. He's asked, does that mean that at some point could there be community-based modules? I guess like an open source project type thing. Yeah. So definitely there is potential for that. I'm not going to. Sorry, I'm just going to see. I'm just going to attempt to get me in this shot. I just have to tighten up my camera again. Sorry about this. That's okay.
Minor challenge here. I wasn't planning to move this camera, so
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, yeah. Never plan. If you're on live streams, never plan.
All right. I'll see if I'm actually visible in this. I'm not visible in that shot. I am very close and very... Sorry.
That's okay.
You might be able to see me, but I'm going to have to get far enough away.
There he is, everyone.
Okay.
Yay.
You can almost see me.
Another question.
I don't know if I'm in focus.
You might have to just keep fiddling with it. Another question came in.
There you go.
Did Loki ever consider using a Pi module rather than the Pine 64, as Korg did with the Wavestate?
No. The main reason for it, I did look into. Well, I consider one? Yes, I had a look into it. I tried getting a. I bought a bunch of them to try different things with. The key problem is that it's really hard to do multi-channel with them.
Yeah.
Multi-channel audio, though, they only have the thing that connects the codec to the CPU is called I2S, and the one on the Pi is only set up for 2 channels for stereo in and out.
Yep.
If you wanted to, there's a technique called TDM, time division multiplexing, and that's really hard to do with the Pi. It's not impossible. There are ways to do it. It's just hard and expensive. And I was really worried about availability.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't buy the CPUs that they use. And that scares me a lot, because they don't care about, their goal isn't to get units to me. So I wanted to work with a CPU manufacturer whose goal was to get units to me. And if that CPU manufacturer, didn't get them all to me, I wanted to be able to have bits where I could swap that out easily. Whereas if I built everything around an ecosystem that I didn't have control, and I was dealing with steps removed from the CPU maker, because Broadcom is famously terrible to deal with.
Mm.
And they're the CPU maker for the Pi.
I work in the IT industry.
So I really didn't want to...
No, all about Broadcom. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't want to be stuck with, evil, faceless giant corporations that don't want to deal with me. I've been in that situation before, dealing with huge giant corporations that don't care about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a really dangerous place as a business. So it was a big goal not to be in that place again.
Yeah.
I learned the error of my previous mistakes.
But you can see the thought that you've got going through with this, and there's also being a manufacturer now, you've got all these challenges, right? You've got the challenges of the screen, you've got the challenges of choosing the CPU and all that. All of these are challenges for you, and we already know that even some of the bigger companies like Teenage Engineering, they had trouble getting the screens, so they had to stop making the OP1 for a while. Because they couldn't actually get the screens again, those little OLED displays. So all of these things are real world challenges, and it's just awesome to see how your thought processes and how you're going through it.
Well, screens is really the biggest challenge for me, because of the volumes required. All the CPU manufacturers. There are CPU manufacturers that are okay with dealing with smaller volumes. They'll be very expensive, but they're okay with dealing with smaller volumes. Whereas screen manufacturers, if they're good, they're dealing primarily really just in mobile phones. So they're used to dealing in millions of units. And so if you ask for 100,000 units, they'll be like, cool, is that for a sample?
Yeah. And you feel small.
And like if any quantity, even if you were asking as Roland or something, any Yamaha or something like that, you're still going to be tiny quantities for the mobile phone industry, as far as number of units. So it's really hard to develop a relationship with the screen manufacturer and actually get them to give you good screens.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like one of the biggest, most difficult nightmares.
That's amazing. I mean, I've watched videos where people talk about building their own iPhone and stuff like that, and they've flown to China, and I'm sure everyone's probably seen that. It's pretty popular video, and he had kind of similar pains, and all he was doing was just trying to build one phone, and they're asking him, so how many shipping containers would you like of some product? And he's like, no, I just want one. And the guy looked at him like he was like, I think he ended up just giving it to him. He was like, here, just take it. Because they normally sell in millions. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I think, the challenge for some of that stuff is that there's kind of two scales you can get stuff at. And if you stick in the middle, that's really problematic. Because there's like hobbyist stuff where you're like, hey, I want this easy to plug together thing, and I want two of them or one of them. And I'm fine with paying a lot, and I'm fine with them being low quality or unreliable or something like that. And then there's I want a million of these. And if you're in between these two numbers, it's challenging sometimes.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, well, it's actually really, really cool. Finally, I get an awesome Aussie to come on this channel and talk about some cool stuff to do with Eurorack and synths and even guitar effects. We love guitar effects pedals as well. I've actually been following your stuff for a while. We've been showing, we showed the Bebo one here. We showed the Hector when the news first, you released it to the world. So love what you do, mate. And it's really, really nice to meet you, of course. This is the first time, if you're wondering, if people are watching this thinking, is he a mate of mine? I've never met Loki before. This is literally the first time we've ever spoken to each other, apart from an email. So it's kind of cool. Like, you guys are experiencing it just like me. So get yourselves into the Hector, or if you just want the Bebo, get yourself that one. You can order them right now, and as you can see, he's making them, and it's a really, really like a love affair project. I can definitely tell that you've got that, and it's coming through. So, do you want to do a little audio demo? Is that set up, or should we? Is that not set up?
I think we can. I mean, I probably just randomly unplugged things moving around, but I'm hoping some stuff is still randomly. Some of it's plugged in.
All right. Should we give it a go?
This patch makes no sense because I just poked on random stuff here. But yeah, we should probably poke things. The only challenge is I think I'll have to switch to my other channels because the streaming program just let me choose a set of channels. It didn't let me choose multiple channels.
But you can still hear us, so we can then we can then say
you'll just have to.
So I've worked out how to make your audio mono. So when you've switched it across, I'll change it back to stereo again, and you'll hear the beautiful
I think I've just
effects.
plugged mono out of this one. I've just plugged mono out of this one though. Sorry, I think I just assumed it would be mono, which is annoying because the reverbs do sound much better in stereo.
They do, yeah. They sound amazing.
Thank you. The pull of the Black Star, I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
Your audience are probably familiar with Heinbach.
Yeah. Yep, the YouTuber.
YouTuber. So I swapped a unit with Heinbach for some IRs that he'd made.
Wow.
Because I really wanted the IRs.
Yeah.
And he gave me a couple, but some of them are of this acoustic lens that's in Canada. And it was built by the Masons, the Freemasons. Right.
Wow.
And it's this weird building that's designed to have weird acoustic effects.
Yep.
Because it's designed to make you feel like there's people singing around you and to amplify and distort, change your voice in interesting ways. Chorus, like a natural chorus effect and things like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a really interesting thing to have IRs of. And that's one of the things reverb-wise I'm really excited about, to have real spaces, being able to capture actual, capturing vintage gear is fun, but I think it's really cool to be able to be like, oh, this is what this particular cave sounds like, or this, live music venue and things like that. I think that's, and to be able to do things like, oh, this is what happened. This is what it sounds like if you use dropping, raindrops as IRs, or spinning coins, or,
or
whispering,
bubbles, whispering walls. Do you remember those things when you were kids?
Yeah.
So you could use those as reverb IRs.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be quite cool. Anyway, I can grab some audio.
Yep.
You're welcome to chat about it. Yeah, I don't 100% know how quickly I'll be able to flick it over, but I can get a patch worked out.
Okay, no problems. I'll tell everyone to keep the questions coming. So while Loki's getting a patch set up, because this is all, off the cuff, and remember it's probably almost 2 a.m. over there for him. Ask your questions through. This is actually going to be the Hector that we're going to be looking at. So this is the new thing that will be for your Eurorack. For all of you that are just about to get yourselves into Eurorack, this is probably going to be one of the best modules you'll ever get your hands on because of all the cool things that it can do. It's literally just such a power box. All right, so let's see what he's got. We haven't got any audio just yet. Not yet, nothing yet. Now he can't talk to us because he's changed the audio over, but we still aren't hearing anything our end just yet. So I'm just telling him so he can hear me. Now that little bit of a hum sound that you're hearing that I just turned off, that's from Dean's setup. So we'll have to sort that one out, Dean. Very subtle. I could actually probably put a noise thing on it. Loki, we're still not hearing any audio, mate. So
you can't hear a hum from me.
yours is just background noise because you're using. I don't think you're using a normal mic, so yours is normal. So IP's asked, is there a physical store where these pedals can be tried out? At the moment, I actually don't know, but on the polyeffects.com website, the link I put in before, and I'll just chuck it in again. Oh, here we go. Let's just go to this for a sec. Okay, we can hear it now, Loki. Twist, delay. So these are all the presets that he's got that he can go in and select. So this is another delay. This is the sitar delay. The chaos controller. So this is a resonator, a multi-resonator. Is this related to rings or something else? Yep. Stereo compressor. So this is the drum sequencer. He's loading a macro oscillator here. Granular synth. So he's now adding a destination trigger. So you get sort of different rhythmic results on this. Beautiful. All right. We'll just pause it there, Maddie. That's awesome. You can switch across to your mic if you like. Beautiful. Okay, so there was a few people who were commenting whilst that was going. So what Loki's showing you is kind of more of the synthy sort of more complex stuff that you can do with this. And obviously this does all the basic types of effects as well. It does the choruses, the reverbs, the delays. It does rotaries. And if you guys want to check that out, and obviously we're probably going to have time. There's actually videos on the PolyFX website that will show you the basics effect stuff that the Digit pedal originally had. That all of that stuff will be on the Hector as well. So you'll be able to get everything that you see that's on the Bebo and the Digit are now combined into one firmware, and you'll be able to access all of that, plus all the Eurorack features that you're seeing here, where you can route outputs to the various inputs and outputs and stuff like that. So in terms of simple stuff, you can get clouds on there. You could get just a standard multi-tap delay. It's all very, very basic, easy to access stuff he's showing you now. If I just go to full screen, this is all the stuff.
I think I can talk again.
Oh, good. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so sorry, it was a bit hard to demo some of that stuff without explaining what I was doing, but thank you very much for doing a good job.
A bad job.
So yeah, I was just, well, no, you were doing good. I was just trying to work out how to explain it through. I wish I had worked out how to get all the mic on at the same time as the audio. I should have tried to write that beforehand. I actually went to a friend's gig before I went to here, so I just came straight from that.
Yeah, that's cool, mate. We persevere.
So you saw me at one point in that previous patch. I decided to route the hi-hat trigger to triggering grains in that granular module.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it really started to have that rhythmic character to it, which I think is kind of interesting. But yeah, you can see there's lots of conventional things, tremolos, choruses, journo style choruses, compressors, all the normal kind of stuff that's, pretty straightforward and easy to use, both in a pedal form and in the Euro form.
So if you just choose one, just because these guys they're going to want to see it, it has a little GUI for each effect once you actually...
Yeah, so here's one of them. This one's actually a bit more complicated, and it's one of the most computationally expensive because it's a physical model of a rotary, of a Leslie. So if we jump into
and it's beautiful.
This one. Thank you. So you'll see that this has a lot of controls. So we've got controls for the way the horn and drum, how they're split between the horn and the drum, the character of the horn, how the rotor behaves, like how it accelerates, how it how it decelerates, what speed it's going at the tremolo and thing speed. And then they've got the same kind of criteria for the drum as well. And then also you have like the mic position, how big the horn, the drum are, how where they break, all the mic offsets, angles, all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So some of the modules are very deep, and some of the modules are obviously very simple, like Bit Mangler. There's not a
you got a
ton of stuff in that.
You got a Dimension D chorus there, so
yeah. So the chorus is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty
so
basic.
This one's actually kind of interesting as well because there's two versions of some of these ones.
Yeah.
So this one, it takes in a BPM, and you can send in a tempo into that one.
And that will take the chorus LFO. Yep.
Whereas the chorus external, these ones, see how there's this little number down the bottom?
Yep.
It might be impossible to see that. Anyway, it has a small number down the bottom. That's how many CV inputs it has for the internal CVs.
Oh, wow.
See how the chorus D hasn't got any? There isn't a circle down the bottom. It doesn't take in any external things. Whereas this one, it doesn't have its own internal LFO.
So we can feed our own LFO into that?
So we'll grab it. Well, I just added an LFO there.
An internal one or an external one?
Yeah, so you can add different LFOs there, different types of LFOs. So we can choose a sample and hold or something, or a sine, and then we can hold and touch to connect that up.
Yep.
And we might have done that from from marbles or something like that, from the mutable stuff, the chaos controller.
Yeah,
If we want
Yeah,
randoms, or we could do it from a sequencer or from envelope follower, pitch detection, any of those kind of things, depending on what you want to do.
fantastic. And also we can use those things to externally control stuff as well. So you could send that
Yeah, exactly.
LFO straight out if you wanted to.
Yep. So like this, actually not that out. One of these outs. I usually have this one. One of these cables running out to control the cutoff of one of these filters and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's a common use.
The SH5 filter.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah, it's fun.
Fantastic. Should we go and have a look, see what the chatties are asking? I don't know if I've missed any questions, but you can see it scrolling by crazy. Now, I think a couple of people were asking if there's any physical store where they can try these pedals out. Now, I mentioned to them that you've got like a dealer or where to buy sort of link on your website. Would that be what you would point them to, or is there some places?
Yeah, definitely.
Around the world?
Depends in which. Yeah, it depends on which country you're in. Just check the dealer list there. Like if you're in Los Angeles, Perfect Circuit in Burbank, they've got lots of stock. Vintage King, if you're in Detroit, Los Angeles, or Nashville, they're good. There's 3 stores in Los Angeles and not as many around the rest of the United States. If you're in the UK, Anderton's.
Right.
They're my exclusive UK dealer. There's dealers in 15 other countries. If you're here in Australia, then Deluxe Guitar in Melbourne and Pedal Empire in Brisbane.
Beautiful.
Or here. Yeah. Just look at that list, and there'll hopefully be dealers in countries that you like. If there's a dealer that you like that doesn't stock it, tell them to.
Yeah. Tell them to contact Loki. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
But yeah, so there should be lots of places to go in and try one.
Beautiful. All right. Well, do you guys? I know Darren and Andy and Dean are here. Do you guys want to ask Loki a question while we've got him here before he disappears? Or make a comment or anything like that? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, can you hear me?
I'd just like to ask.
Yeah.
We'll go Andy first, then Dean, and then Darren.
Go Andy.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Dean. Thanks, Darren. I'd just like to ask Loki. It looks from somebody who's new to Eurorack and somebody who's basically a little bit stupid. It really looks quite involved and quite tricky. Could you give us an honest assessment as how you feel, how steep a learning curve it is to get into that module? Because it looks like it's got so much in it that I mean, I said in the chat that yeah, it's really interesting, but I just think I'd be overwhelmed by it. When I've just bought a little tip-top effects module for my little rack, and that's got loads of options in it, and I just feel like, oh, what? How do I get? The screen is lovely, but just how quick is it to get to grips with it, or is it a steep learning curve? If you can give us an honest assessment.
I mean, I am a bass player and a guitarist, so I'm allowed to say this, but it is designed for guitarists and bass players to be able to use.
You can get away with that on here.
No. So realistically, as you said, one of the good things and bad things about the pedal is that it's as deep as you want it to be. If you want it to be the best sounding reverb around, which is what most people, a lot of players who have this, I've been surprised about the audience that's really bought a lot of Bebo units. There's a couple of famous country players who have it. And then all the other country players wanted to buy it. So it just ended up on a lot of country pedal boards. And then a bunch of blues people. I had some really great supporters from blues guitarists early on. So there's a bunch of blues players that bought it. And obviously a lot of those players, there's a lot of presets that it comes with, but lots of them, I have a look, I watch a lot of their things. Like recently I was watching the launch of this album from Ariel Posen, and one of the starts of one of his video clips pans up from his pedal board, and I'm like, oh, amazing. Right at the start of this video clip is, my thing on stage. And I was very happy with that. But you look at his pit patches. Yeah, no, I'm super happy to see, musicians producing great music with it. That's the goal, is to have, people able to make great music with it.
I think probably what I would probably do, Loki, is show them, like, I've got your website here somewhere. Hang on, here it is.
Yeah, so this one's...
let me just show this, Loki. Let me just show this for a sec. If we go to here, I think one of the first things anyone should do is watch a couple of these videos that he's got on the bottom of his website. Because there's Red Moon's recording down here.
Doing it,
there's
recording. Cool.
Yep, and there's some really, really, really well made. Actually, this video down the bottom right, I love this video down the bottom right. It's actually really cool.
That's a guy from Tasmania. He does.
Yeah, I know who he is too. So, go watch those videos. You won't. It's not as complex as you think. Like he said, it can be complex. And that's the cool thing. So we can get really nerdy with this, but if you want to dumb it down, it can also do that as well.
Especially watch if you're worried about depth, watch the Andertons video especially, because they come at it from a direction of very much they're used to pedals with two knobs.
That's the one on the top left, isn't it? The Anderton one. Yeah.
So they're used to they hadn't ever used Eurorack before. They'd never seen synthy stuff before, and I showed them this at a trade show. This amazing blues player, Josh Smith, had been demoing a gain pedal to them, and he said to them, do you stock this pedal I use for reverb and delay? You need to. And they said, no, we don't. And they said, I'm going to take you to his booth. I'm going to show you it. So he brought them over to my booth and said, hey, you need to check out this reverb pedal and delay. Yeah, I'm very happy that he did that. I'm very, it was great. Yeah. And these guys that weren't really, they're used to much more straightforward, I guess, traditional pedals with a much more limited feature set. They tried this and they're like, oh, actually, I understand this a lot better than anything digital I've tried before. So, they're used to trying, for a lot of the pedals especially, you have to, if you want to change the MIDI channel, it's like, oh, well, you turn it off and you press this button and then you turn these things, and this button does these 7 things depending on what it's doing. I've got a delay pedal just behind me that is a great sounding delay pedal from Pictronics. Fantastic delay, but half the knobs on it do different things depending on if you're pressing another button. And you have to remember, I press these 2 buttons together and turn that knob, and that changes the second delay's volume. And I can't remember how to use it, and I've had it for years. So I focus a lot on usability. So I spend a lot of time, myself and Joe, we spend a lot of time watching people use it and trying to make sure that everybody can. And so this is just a patch with a reverb on it. And for most people, if you want a great sounding reverb, you want this. This is probably the only thing you'll need. You connect an in to an out, and you just hold things and touch the other things. And then, to change reverbs, we just press on this and you choose a name of a reverb, and you're like, oh, I want this EMT plate. Oh, it's called EMT plate. Okay. It's actually, all of that kind of stuff is pretty straightforward, and then you can just add as much depth as you want. Obviously, you can get into crazy presets, but to begin with, people are probably just going to go through a couple of the presets, change a few things if they need to, and then they'll think, oh, wait a minute, I'd like to EQ the send into that reverb. I'll add an EQ. EQs are pretty complicated on pedals usually because you can't visualize them on a Eurorack or on a pedal. You don't have an easy way to see what's going on. Whereas this EQ, you can see exactly what's going on. So compared to other options, I'll change the Q here as well. See how that Q behaves? You can get it really pointy, and turn that right down, you get super pointy. So that's, it's much easier to see what's going on than if somebody says, oh, there's a knob for Q and a knob for frequency, and there's 4 of those knobs and they do things.
Yeah, the visual feedback is so important.
Yeah, so that was a big thing for me, just making it clear how things route, clear how things connect. And for some of the stuff, especially we did a lot of work trying to make the mutable modules that we included have interfaces that were easy to understand. If I find the Chaos controller here, some of those modules are very deep. And these interfaces are still confusing, but there's icons, there's pictures. And if we look at this Y control one, I'm not sure if this is easy to see on the screen. Like on the video.
You can see rate, spread, bias, steps.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can see what happens with rate. See how there's little squiggles here? And as they get the squiggles get much closer together. So there's an icon of what rate does. And there's spread, you can see it's all in one little line, and then they get further apart. So that's what spread does. And bias, you see the line goes up or down, and steps, it becomes more steppy or less steppy.
Yeah.
So if this was the Eurorack module of marbles, those would just be knobs.
Yeah.
And for these knobs, sometimes they're knobs that you press a button and then they change what the knob does.
Mm.
So there are multiple things mapped onto a single button.
Sometimes you forget what the buttons do too.
Yeah, especially, all of these ones that have graphical things. And this one where you can choose the keys.
Mm.
If you want to choose the pentatonic or the minor or these rug, choosing that with the Eurorack equivalent is much more challenging than pressing the button that says major.
Yeah, and like yours, you can go straight to it as well. So whereas the Eurorack module, you'd have to toggle through to get to it as well.
Yeah, so I think there is a ton of depth, and that is definitely scary. And I think sometimes some people are like, I definitely get some customers occasionally who are looking through this and they're like, oh, I want a really great sounding reverb or a really great sounding delay, and I've been told yours is the best one, so I got it. And I'm confused about how to use the, something like the meta modulator. And I'm like, you don't want the meta modulator. You're never going to want the meta modulator. Keep away from that. And, that's one of the challenges, that people want to understand the whole set straight away. So I think, try one module. Some of the modules, like the twist delay, seem really simple, but they have a huge amount of power. And I think if I gave you just the twist delay and said, hey, make a ton of great sounds for 2 days with this.
Yeah.
That, if I gave you a module that was just that thing, it would be a deep module. So yeah, I think think of what you want to get out of it and just get a little bit of that. And then if you want to get some of the other stuff, I think people feel like they need to understand everything in it.
Yeah.
And that I understand that
they're
thing,
just excited. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the better way to work around it is just like learn it as you go, find new stuff, keep discovering things.
Yeah. Loki, just got a question from a guy in chat called Grizzly Wang. Great nick, that is. He's asked, can the MIDI looper, I don't know if it's really a MIDI looper, but anyway, can the looper record / overdub CV automation like the Bastel MIDI looper, or similar how to overdub mode in Ableton Live works?
Yeah, so the looper can loop audio or CV, but it can't loop MIDI messages.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he's asking. It's controllable over MIDI, but it can't actually loop, you can't loop note-on messages with it or anything like that. You could loop triggers or, volt per octave messages, CVs with it.
Yeah. Could you loop envelopes?
Yeah, anything like that, of course.
Yeah. So
that's just CVs. You can loop any of them, and you could loop multiple tracks of them if you wanted. If you wanted to have 3 tracks of triggers along with 3 tracks of pitch, volt per octave pitch, you could loop all of that at the same time, and then cut them up in different ways and have something going backwards and have them all going out of different outputs and in from different inputs. That's all fine.
Yeah.
And you can overdub sections of that.
you're essentially like sampling control voltage.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because control voltage is just voltages. Yeah.
I've never thought about that before. That's actually quite fascinating. So, Grizzly Wang, thank you for your question, because that's actually opened up something that I'd never even thought about before.
Yeah, because it's just,
well, why not?
Recording audio is just the same. It's just voltages still.
Exactly. And don't forget too, guys, because
it's a conceptual problem I have.
Lockie did mention that the inputs and outputs are DC coupled. It would mean that you could actually use like VCV rack. If you've got a module that can output from your DAW, you could actually use that as well. So there's a lot of possibilities here. This is
and if you've got a keyboard that can send, or a keyboard or a sequencer that can send, MIDI out or volts per octave, you can convert between, in the module, you can convert between MIDI and volts per octave. So if you've got a sequencer that's sending MIDI, you can just convert that to volts per octave and then loop that.
Yeah. So Grizzly Wang said that you answered his question, so it looks like he was happy with your answer. Must have been to do with CV automation. Yeah. I think I think that's
CV automation. Yes. Yeah. That's definitely a thing that it does.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
yeah, I like the idea of actual MIDI looping as well, and that's a thing I want to think about in the future. But it doesn't. That's not going to be in the current looper.
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's a million things out that does that anyway. So, whether
this thing's eventually going to do everything.
Makes your coffee.
That's my worry. Yeah. I'm allergic to caffeine, so it's not going to do that.
Fair enough. Well, it's been awesome. Obviously, Lockie, you're welcome to hang around. I know it's late there, so you're more than welcome to disappear as well. It's been fantastic having you on, and we've really enjoyed it. And it's been so good actually just getting the first glimpses of the Hector working as well, instead of just seeing static photos appear on social media. It's nice to actually see it operational. Obviously, I'd love to get my hands on it. I'm sure a bunch of us here are watching would love to. So if they do, what do they have to do, Lockie, if they want to get themselves one of these?
There'll be a range of dealers that will be getting them. So, if there's a dealer that you want to stock them, just pester them. My current dealers, if they stock Eurorack stuff, they'll be getting Hector as well. You'll also be able to get it direct from me. There's those guys. That is the dealer network at the moment. If there's a dealer you think we need that isn't on that list, pester them and tell them about us.
There's a hell of a lot of countries there. Like, you're covering most of the globe. You're in Sweden. You're in Netherlands. You're even in Hong Kong and China. It's amazing. It's all over the place. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, actually, a bunch of the dealers in Asia, Hong Kong and China, they've actually some of the ones we've had for the longest. So they got onto it quite early. I'm really happy about the uptake there. But yeah, if there's a particular deal you're keen on, pester them, and otherwise, if you can get it directly from me as well. There's a thing on the website to press, and you'll hear about it when I put things up about it. I've only just updated the website, so I'm not 100% sure about how everything is there at the moment. But yeah, you should be able to find out more information about Hector. And
fantastic.
Yeah, if you follow us on I post vaguely occasionally on Instagram and stuff and Facebook, so that's where the information will go up as well.
Yeah, the links are actually on your website to all that too, so they don't even need to actually know what they are. They can literally just go to your website, polyeffects.com, and then the links to Facebook, Instagram, and everything up on the top menu bar. So tell Jo that I said she did a really good job of the website design. I think it's awesome. It's always...
She was the gig I just went to see, so...
Oh, there you go. Yeah, she's did you say she was a bass player as well or something?
She's a bass player,
yeah. That's cool. That's awesome. Hopefully
her band Dental Plan just released a new video clip a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully you'll be seeing that around as well. That is cool.
Was she using your pedal?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
I mean, she makes them.
Yeah.
She has a custom one.
So on the website, everyone's asking how to contact Loki. How do I contact Loki? On his website, polyfx.com. I'll put it into the chat. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, check us out on Instagram. There's also there's a Facebook users group that's pretty useful. It's quite active. So a lot of people share presets on there and talk about how to do stuff. So if you're new to the pedal or the Euro version, they share the exact same presets. You'll be able to find them up on patch storage.
Yep.
All the patches. And you can also on Modular Grid, you can see it up there as well if you want to, see if it fits in your rack and put it places.
Yep.
Same for the pedals.
If you're wondering how to contact Loki, just go to his website or do what I did, and I just messaged him through Facebook, and he answered it within a day or so. It was pretty quick. He got back to me. So, yeah. You do.
Truthfully, my
understand he's pretty much a slightly bigger than a one-man band here, and so he's pretty busy. But at the same time, he does get back to people.
There's 3 of us, but it's only me who answers the emails. So.
Exactly. There you go.
I need to get Jennifer or Joe answering the emails. So
helping you out, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But look, excellent. Like I said before, excellent having you on the show, mate. Really appreciate you coming in and showing us and staying up late for us. I hope it hasn't wrecked your day tomorrow too much with lack of sleep. You are welcome to hang around a little bit longer. We do a couple of other sort of segments on here too, which I've left obviously because I wanted to get you through first. So yeah.
Well, if the others have any specific questions or anything, I'm happy to answer a couple of them and then get off to bed.
All right. If the questions come in, make sure you do flag my name, like what Grizzly Wang did before. Sasquatch is saying, please pass on our appreciation to Loki. Great product, and thanks for his time and input. Wagoo saying, VM Sky had a question too here, so he's just re-entering it for us. VM Sky said, here are a few parameters we want to control by knobs during the live performance. Will there be MIDI CC control option? I think we already answered that, but yeah, you can answer that one again.
So there's yes, everything is, so there's MIDI in on the, there's obviously MIDI in on the pedal, and there's knobs on the pedal. They're encoders on the pedal. Obviously the Euro version has no knobs. It has MIDI in, and there's an expansion module for it called Nothing But Knobs, which has got knobs. It's got nothing but
sounds like you're talking about the show.
Yeah. So yeah, the knobs expander for it. That actually sends. It's just a MIDI controller. It'll send MIDI out. So it's got a MIDI in. This isn't it, but it's kind of the same size and shape. Well, it's the same size and shape as this guy. And it's just going to have MIDI in, MIDI out, and polar knobs. Yeah,
so it's like a little 3 HP type jobber.
Yeah, and that'll so you'll be able to control anything from that and just map, and then you'll have knobs for it. So I just wanted to make sure that the reason there isn't any knobs on it is I just wanted to make sure it was as small as possible.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted extra controls, you could add them, and then you could have I wanted to make the form factor modular as well.
Mm.
Just so that, people who are contented with this and wanted the smallest thing possible. Because I really like the idea of having something like the, a semi-modular system like the Mini Brute or the Subharmonic, and being able to add a reverb and a delay and everything else with it, and more voices. So, yeah.
You've also got the ins and outs too that you could use those to patch through.
To see there, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, really, you just have to be a bit more creative with your CV knowledge, and you don't really need to have expansion modules. You can just use the patches that are there.
Yeah, and if you want to use the that MIDI controller for other stuff, you can send MIDI to other stuff from it as well.
Yeah, and you can do that via the two 3.5mm MIDI jacks or the USB, which is cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. I think we've covered most of it. So what we'll do now is we'll rock on with the rest of the show, which we normally do. Trying to sort of get back into the flow of what I do, I think the first thing that we do is we hit this button here. And before I do, I nearly forgot. Darren and Dean actually had questions for you. I nearly forgot about you guys, actually, didn't I? Who wants to go first?
Go on, Dean.
Go, Dean. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Loud enough?
We can hear you.
Yeah, hear you, Dean.
Brilliant. Got it. Eventually. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for that. That looks absolutely amazing. My problem I've got with this is that I want both of them. And that is my question, is what would be the best one, really, for me? Because I'm thinking the possibilities with all this equipment here, with my analog and all the MIDI capabilities, but also on the guitar end, I'm thinking I'd love one at my foot as well. So I don't know, what would you think on that idea?
I obviously recommend both, but I am pretty biased. But
they got the same in both. You know, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, if you make a patch on one, you can move the patch to the other one. If you've got Hector and you save your patch, you can just load that patch. And any of the patches people have made on patch storage for Bebo or Hector are fine for either of them. So realistically, yeah, it's just how many inputs do you need? Do you need them to be DC coupled? If you don't need DC coupled inputs, because you're not going to have CV going in and out of it, and you're fine with just MIDI control in and out of it, then get the pedal. It's cheaper, it's widely available, and then you can use it easily with both at your feet. The other option is, I think any setup that's going to have Hector in it, if you're going to want to be able to play that on stage with a guitar rig, that's going to be more annoying. To have a Eurorack set up on stage isn't it? You don't get the foot control then. But if you're using a MIDI controller with it, then that's okay too, I think.
Yeah, you could have a foot MIDI controller.
Well, I got this just recently. One of them.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that could probably do the job.
Well, that's a beastie, Dean.
Yeah.
Did you see Expressive? Did you see Expressive, my MIDI controller that I used to make? I can't remember when you was hunting for things.
I don't think I saw it, no. But I did read about it. I just don't remember seeing the photo of it. But do you want me to see if I can find it while you're talking?
If you can find a picture of it. Otherwise, I've got one in a box I could open up for you.
So using that controller would be quite adequate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I keep getting the touche coming up everywhere.
If you look on you just scroll way back on Instagram. On our Instagram, you'll see like a year back on Instagram, you'll see a bunch of Expressive posts.
Okay.
Or a few years back.
I actually don't have Instagram set up here, so.
Oh no! Yeah. Just go to the Instagram site.
Yep, I'm doing it.
Really impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think if you're going to use it more for guitar and you want foot controls, then having the foot switches is handy for looping. But if you've already got a foot controller that and you don't need portability as much, and you're going to have Euro stuff, and you want the inputs, get the Euro version. But you'll be able to do all the same stuff with both. Yeah,
because all the analogs and LCV. So.
Yeah, that's the big difference really, is that the other ones aren't DC coupled. Which I do wish that they were all DC coupled, but I didn't plan that from the beginning, and it makes quite a bit of the design a bit more complicated.
Is this? Am I in sort of the right area
Thanks for your help.
Yes. So click on one of those ones.
That one?
Well, actually, that one's got a prettier picture. Go for it. Or the one to the left. Yeah, any of those guys. Yeah, see that thing? That's the MIDI controller I used to make.
So you chuck your foot on that basically, and it does a whole bunch of stuff.
A three-dimensional sensor. It senses position and pressure. beer resistant. That's what that picture was. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it senses X, Y, and Z, so pressure and position, and you could, do all that kind of stuff. So that was a controller I used to make, but the downside is that they were very expensive to make and very expensive to ship from Australia because they were so large.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Real challenge.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hard work to make, but.
Awesome. Did any other questions? Please ask. Grizzly's asking lots of questions. Awesome. Please ask. The USB slot, is it only for on the Hector? Is it act as a host?
Yeah.
I think we said that, didn't we? I think I've answered that. Yeah.
It acts as MIDI host. So does the
so
one.
It will
on
show
Vivo.
up. It will show up in your computer as Hector or something.
Oh no, it acts as a host, as in for you can have it as a MIDI host, like you can plug your keyboard into it.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. I'm just clarifying it for him.
Yeah. So you can't plug it into a computer. It won't act as a USB drive or anything like that.
Yeah, as a device.
Yeah, it'll only act as a host. It won't act as a slave.
Yeah. So if you've got like a USB, like a Korg microcontroller or something like that, that doesn't have any DINs, it's just got USB on it, and it's powered by USB, you can chuck it into Hector and you'll be able to play. I don't know what you'll be able to play, but you'll be able to play things on it.
Yeah, or an
Anything
Ableton
with
push
knobs.
or something like that.
Yeah, Ableton push.
An Ableton push. It doesn't have any MIDI out.
Yeah.
Some things will require external power depending on how much they need. It doesn't provide a ton of power over that.
Yeah. All right. Now, Darren, you were next. Sorry, matey. Did you remember your question?
I think some people have already asked it actually, but normally I always say a pedal needs to be in a Eurorack, or a Eurorack needs to be in a pedal. I sort of quite see this Hector as Hector Pro as a desktop module as well, which would be cool. I can see it sort of sat here as a desktop form, sort of in between the pedal and the modular, with maybe 4 controller knobs on which are assignable on the top. That'd be really cool, I think. I like them both. I'm a bit like Dean, you see. The both was good, but I think to combine the two as a desktop module, like a desktop, would be really, really cool. I quite like that idea. And the second question is, if you send in audio to Hector, is the waveform, does the waveform show up, for instance, like when you're in the EQ, messing about with the EQ, does the waveform behind it show up that you're sending in?
Yeah, so as far as desktop module goes, my thought at the moment is that people can just buy one of those the little tiny boat skiff case things. And if you buy one that's 40 HP or something, then you'll have room for the Bebo to go in there, Hector to go in there, and then you'll have a room for knobs down the side as well. And then maybe you'll have some space for anything else you need as well, like a filter or something as well. So I haven't really thought much about. I don't know what the specific advantages of getting a desktop module is versus saying, hey, here's a package where you can stick it in a tiny Eurorack case. Because I guess the Moog stuff, like this Harmonix, and that is both. It's a Eurorack module that's sitting in a case.
Yeah, like the Behringer ones as well. Yeah.
I don't know if it's, for me, it would be a lot of, it'd be a lot of cost to get those additional cases, the additional enclosures made. Just it would be a lot of aluminium to buy and to anodize or powder coat them and stuff. It's I can do powder coating myself, but I can't do anodizing here. So that I'd have to work out if we were going to move enough, if they were going to move units of that or the other things. And already so many people make enclosures for Euro that you can just say, hey, buy one of them, stick that in that. So what do you think of the advantages is something I'd want to know of the
Well, I just thought it'd be good for playing live, but well, I mean, it's designed like you say, yours for sort of guitar orientated originally. I was just seeing it as a live setup for like keyboards and stuff.
Yeah.
I get your point. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's just that I was sat there and I was just picturing it as sort of like all the inputs and outputs, like your guitar pedal version.
So at the back,
flexibility. Yeah, at the back. But with it just being that little bit, just desktop orientated more. That was all. But I see your point.
I think
whether you get a skiff and go the modular route.
I think the Bebo probably already is. I mean, it's where's the photo of it on the website? It's not tiny, but it's not massive either. But it's probably the right size actually.
It's a bit like Blue Sky, is it? Looks very similar to that size.
Yeah,
Strymon,
it is.
That type of size.
Yeah, similar to Blue Sky.
The isn't it? I think it's
Big
similar
Sky.
to the Big Sky. Yeah.
The big
It's the
one.
size up from the Blue Sky.
The bigger one, the big one, Big Sky.
Yeah.
3-button,
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, so it's the same size as them. Yeah.
Wait, that's it. But yeah.
It's the same size as the Roland, the Boss 500 series pedals.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all
So
of
they
those
are pretty
3-foot
decent.
switch one is
Yeah.
same kind of size. Yeah.
So it is a pretty decent size. I think you'd probably be right, Darren, with something like that on your desk.
Also, there's somebody in the Facebook users group makes desktop stands for it as well.
All right.
For
cool.
Bebo. They have these 3D printed stands, so they sit at a nice angle, and they've got what's called threads for microphone stands.
Right.
And
That's good.
so and tripods and stuff, so you can stick it on a microphone stand easily.
So you can mount it. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, just in case, because there's a few people using it for voice as well.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
cool.
Cool.
Some interesting people using it for voice. I'm kind of surprised how there's some kind of surprising acts using it for voice that I'm interested in.
Oh yeah, build it and watch what people do with it. It's kind of a cool thing, right?
Yeah. One of the famous acts that's using it for voice, they didn't contact me to get one or anything. I didn't know they were using it until they bought one secondhand because they couldn't find one new. Because for a while I just couldn't keep up with orders. Yeah. Because it was hard getting parts for a while during the COVID stuff. And they said, "Oh yeah, I paid more than you buying one secondhand to get one." I'm like, haven't you won a few Grammys and stuff? You could have just asked. Probably would have found one. I would have given you one of mine. You play with Kanye. I think I probably can work something out.
Maybe just send them one anyway. Send them a silver one.
yeah, maybe good plan.
Yeah, it'll always go down well. All right, I think what we'll do is we'll head on over to.
I think I forgot the second part of your question. There was another bit, wasn't there? Didn't I forget the second part of his question?
When you said, I was just saying, did it show your waveform when you send an audio?
Oh,
in?
yes.
I totally did. Sorry, yes, I totally forgot the second part of your question. The visualization stuff at the moment is garbage. I'm gonna work on more metering and more like oscilloscope kind of behavior and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. Awesome. That'll be awesome for the Eurorack module.
Yeah, that's probably a couple of months out. The first, I'm going to do the sequencer, what's called, my brain's not doing quite as well at this point. Euclidean sequencer. Then tuner is the thing after that.
Oh wow, tuner.
Which we've already got basically everything. It's mostly so I don't keep needing an extra tuner on the board or finding where the ones on my headstock are, and
Oh wow,
it's mostly to make my life easier. So, which is a good reason to make stuff. So tuner's one of the next things on the list, and then the list gets a bit weirder after there.
Yeah.
Then visualization is one of the big things.
Having an oscilloscope.
There's one thing that's actually going to come pretty soon because I've done most of it. The pedal right now doesn't do USB host for MIDI. Well, I mean, the current firmware that's available does, but I got that work. I just finished coding that last week. So the next update will have that.
Yep.
The USB host stuff. Being able to, do MIDI over that and route it to the other ones. But the other cute one that's coming is better visualization for and better control for the envelope following stuff and compressors in general. All the UI of all that's being redone, because at the moment it's kind of annoying with most compressors and envelope followers to set levels. And the way we're changing it to be is that you just press a button and you can listen. Like there's a learn mode. I didn't mention MIDI learn either, did I? Well, there's MIDI learn for everything. But there's a learn mode for the low and high part of the compressor. So you can just, if you're playing on a guitar, you can just say, or on anything, you can say, now I'm going to play the quiet bit, learn, play. And now I'm going to play the loud bit, play, learn, max. And so then you'll be able to set, I want to send a 0 value, or, the bottom of the filter at this value and the top at that value of playing. Because that sweep kind of stuff is usually annoying to set up. So, yeah, good visualization around levels, all that thing. That's something I really care about. Just early on with the hardware, it's hard work because I had to write the drivers for the graphics card, and originally that was for the GPU. So that wasn't all done early on. Now it is, so it's easier.
Yeah, that is actually really, really something that a lot of guitar pedal and effects pedals have not ever implemented, and that's that sort of learning ability. So I know there's some that do it, but questionable about how well they do it. Do you know what I mean? So that's really cool. I'd be actually really keen to get my hands on one and do that sort of stuff. All right, okay.
Yeah.
We shall persevere with the rest of the show. This is kind of a bit cheesy, Lockie. You probably haven't seen my show before, but we do kind of like this really stupid segment, and it's called Funny Side. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, let's roll the stinger. Let's roll the stinger. Come on. Hello. It's not working. Oh, there we go. Don't know why that just paused like that, but anyway. As I say every week, we trowel the ends of the internet to find these amazing, this is called sarcasm, by the way, memes for you. And starting with this one. And yes, this one came across my desk, and I actually thought it was quite true. Meanwhile, in the year is 2104, Behringer announces only a few more weeks until the official release of the TR9. Someone's getting a little bit angry about how long it's taken for that to come out.
RD9.
Yeah, I think it is RD9, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. Let's correct them. Anyway, geez, nasty. What about this? There are only two things I can't stand in this world: people intolerable of other people's music taste, and dubstep. If you haven't worked that one out, it might be too late. But yes, I thought that was quite clever. And this one, yes, this one is all of us. Who are we? Synth collectors. What do we want? More synths. Where will we put them? We don't know. And while we're just looking at that, I just thought maybe we could just quickly cross over to Darren, who now has decided that he's running out of room.
Peanuts.
He's now going on his roof now because he can't fit synths on the wall. He's now going up onto the roof. No, we'll talk about your stuff in a minute, Darren. Don't worry. No, it looks awesome, actually. I'm just kidding. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one. Yes, this one is the authentic Behringer Eurorack module that you can get. Please ignore the Moog stickers. Geez, that is cheeky. That is just so cheeky.
Is that from Native VS by any chance?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. When I saw that, I thought, did he put that on there? What?
Robert, was
Is
that
he in the
yours?
chat? Is he in the chat?
He's in somewhere.
He's in there somewhere, isn't he? That's a good one. Yes, so as you can see, Lockie, they're pretty cheesy, these jokes that we find. And yes.
No, still good.
Yeah. Anyway, there is actually a little bit of news this week. So let's see if that stinger works. And my mouse is not working. The news this week is more of an extension to what we were talking about last week, and that is my change.org petition is slowly, I haven't even got to 100 yet. It's slowly getting there. If you haven't seen this, it's just change.org/filter sweep. It was all about YouTubers getting copyright claims against their videos, and all they're doing is just demonstrating how to use a musical instrument. It's not musical at all. So therefore, it shouldn't be copyright claimed, and people shouldn't be sucking massive YouTube earnings. And that was sarcasm as well. So that was that. What else did we have? We also had some other interesting things that came across my desk. I don't know, I think a lot of us use Audacity, and I was actually quite surprised to find out that they've released a new version. I had no idea they released a new version. And it's got some cool things in it. And as you guys all know, it's free. So I thoroughly recommend whoever has Audacity sitting on their desktop, whether it's Mac or Windows or even Linux, because there is a penguin there, you can get yourself version 3.0, which was only just released, what date is it today? 3 days ago, says James Crook. And if you're wondering what's in that, you can go and have a look at the website and read more. But yeah, it's it does look a little bit similar, but I think there's some improved things in there that may actually please some people, considering it's free as well. So there is that. What else is there? This thing. This thing is for Eurorack people. Who saw this? This is like a little 3D printed thing called Cable Cube. And is there a photo? Yeah, this photo here. So you actually just sort of stick it to the side of your Eurorack skiff and you can just plug your cables into it. And it's just like another way of doing cable organizers. Look at that. How cool is that? And it's 3D printable. You can just buy them in different colors. Like there's all these different colors here. And it's 35 US. There's the colors there. And you can also get these little joiner bits so you can join them together. How cool is that? So that's that. I'm really skimming through the news, sorry, because we have to. The other news is Summer NAMM is in, I don't know if, Loki, are you going to be doing anything with this? This is going to be in Nashville in July. So I don't know if you're allowed to travel to Nashville in July, but anyway.
So I usually do. I usually go to Summer NAMM.
Yeah.
And I love it, and it's great, and it's a great event, and I have lots of friends there, but I just don't think it's realistic that we're going to be able to get there from Australia.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but they are
America's
actually,
still
believe it or not,
it's a big scary destination.
It's full of COVID, but they are actually allowing people to go to this. Well, they're planning on allowing people to go to this, so you can both exhibit and attend. I don't know. Maybe if you had some hazmat suit, you could go.
I don't think I'm allowed back into Australia if I go.
Ever.
So, yeah. And I quite like it here.
Yeah, true.
So
I thought that was good.
It's a great event, though.
Yeah, I thought that was good. And on the flip side, so that in one place they're letting an event go on, and another place they're not having it at all, and you have to wait till 2022, and that's the Music Messe in Frankfurt. So unfortunately for those who had planned,
which zero people will miss.
Yeah, it's interesting, that event, but you do have Super Booth, a culled version of Super Booth this year. So anyway, look, if you do miss these things, I think the one that a lot of us really want is the Synth Fest in the UK. That'd be cool if we can get that one to happen anyway. So
well, we can live in hope.
Yeah,
we can live in hope about that.
I did skim through the news this week. Now, I think probably the most important thing out of the news this week is that I'm starting to see a change, and I don't know if you guys are sort of feeling it too. I'm starting to feel like we're coming out of COVID, and I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to jinx it, but I do kind of get the feeling that we're starting to see governments allowing us to do things. We're still getting lockdowns. It's to me, I'm starting to see the world. It's starting to slightly change. So this might be a turning point. I'm just really hoping for all of us. I think we're just sick and tired of this stupid pandemic. So it's just frustrating for all of us. I know. So maybe there's just a slight glimmer of hope, hey, with the fact that they've got Summer NAMM happening, there's Super Booth happening. So yeah, you know.
We can, like I said, we can live in hope. I mean, I think there's been a lot of problems over here in Europe this week with regards to
with France,
COVID and the vaccinations and which ones they're going to allow and which ones they're not going to allow, and all the while these countries are holding vaccines back and not administering them, people are dying. It just
I do not get that.
They can be so utterly stupid.
I just don't get
it's
that.
Political point scoring, and people are dying because of it. And I just think these people should be taken out and shot.
Yeah,
right, I've had me say now. You know, I'm a Europhile. I never wanted Brexit, but if this is how the EU are going to behave, then it's made me so angry this week. I can't believe it. I'm thinking, are these people first-rate idiots or no more politics? I'm sorry.
No, I completely agree with you.
You have got to remember, it is the EU and not the countries in the EU that's causing this.
Yeah.
The countries in the EU, it's the EU and the EU, they're two separate things.
Well,
I think there's some leaders in some countries that are causing it as well. So I think you're right, Darren, but I also think there are some specific countries, that are being complete tossers.
Yeah, on that front, yeah. But what I was meaning was that the EU was the countries were supposed to be going, like, I think it was Hungary, Poland, Germany, France. They went off on their own to order vaccines, and the EU told them no, because you're supposed to do it as a group of the EU. So that sort of defeats the whole point of the EU in the first place. They're all together. So some countries are going rogue.
It's caused all sorts of problems. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
anyway,
going down a big rabbit hole in October.
I kind of do want us to have a little bit of glimmer of hope. I think Loki's going to head off. So thanks, Loki, for being on the show, mate. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us.
I think it might
Loki.
be getting towards my bedtime. So it's 3 a.m. here. So
thanks.
We're going to finish up in about 10 minutes anyway. So thanks anyway, buddy.
Thanks very much.
Loki, can I just compliment you? On being by far and away the most dapper guest that's been on?
You haven't seen the boats. You haven't seen these boats.
You win the Ramsey T-shirt.
We're going to do the
very
boats.
to sit with us, Scruffs.
Whoa.
They're cool.
I'm not sure you can see these.
Oh my word, man!
They're not.
There we go. Okay.
They're nice.
That's
snake boots.
How many crocodiles?
Even the in the background is colour coded as well.
Look, we don't mind.
Yeah, we got a thing going on there.
I've got my ones.
Snake boot.
I've got my ones.
They are not.
That's my one.
Oh, those are great.
Oh, they're
I am jealous. I've
Dean.
been beaten. I've been beaten.
You
Nice
might,
Templar boots.
hey Dean, you might be able to find your way to getting a new pedal if you send those to Loki.
Do a swap.
I'm usually in coveralls and work boots, or normally. So.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, mate. Brilliant having you on. We're going to finish up soon anyway. So, but
take care, fella.
We'll
Good
catch
to
you
see
later, mate.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care.
Now there was one other piece of news that I do want to quickly mention, and that is the news that Darren has decided to build up, and it's turned into an aircraft cockpit. And we also noticed that there's a certain 2600 sitting above his head, and he hasn't told us anything about this, and he's been very, very secretive. So, Darren, now it's time to cough it up. Tell us all about it. Come on, what's going on?
He's been a very naughty boy.
It came a while back, but I hadn't finished the rig properly to fit it in, and I don't know. I think you can see another bar here, or is it just above me?
Yeah,
that rig's right round the front that you might have seen on one of my videos. So tomorrow you'll get a proper look at it, because that's what the video will be tomorrow. But yes, I was waiting for the 2600, and it arrived at about the same time as you got yours, Rans.
Wow.
Might have been a week later, actually.
How the hell did you cope with like not playing it and stuff? That would have been torture.
It was. I had it on the desk at first. I didn't have it up in the where it is now, just to mess about with it a little bit. But I wanted to get it up there. But you know how small my room is, and to pull everything in, so it was all hands on but still out of the way, if you know what I mean. Was quite a challenge because the stuff that I bought, all this is Jasper, or a lot of it's Jasper, but it's all had to be cut and. Because none of the stuff fits, so everything's all had to be cut and redesigned. It's keeping the original Jasper stuff, but everything being cut down, rebolted together, a few new holes here and there. But other than that, it's gone together quite well, I think. And there's still room for a lot more. There'll be more bits coming off because they kept down here. There's a mixer as well. You can't see it from there. You'll have to watch the video tomorrow to see the actual full look of the studio. But so quite a bit of work going into it.
It looks great, Darren.
I reckon it looks amazing.
Yeah. And you've obviously put a lot of time and effort and thought into that. I couldn't visualize that in my head. I mean, I just think that's amazing. Great.
Yeah. Darren, I love
setup.
Sorry.
No,
the idea.
Dave.
Yeah, I love that idea you've got up top. Reminds me of Star Trek. I love the way they used to have that angle at the top and on the desk and whatever it was. And I've just worked out, I think, what it is. It's them stands, isn't it? It's a desktop stand that sits backwards and you've turned it up the other way?
No.
It's really cool idea.
If you want me to go, what it is, let me just shift out the way a little bit. So basically what I've done is you've got a Jasper, I think it was a 6-tier one. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about a 6-tier one, which was then cut and hacked to fit in this gap because they don't do it. They either do it too narrow or too wide, so it had to be a wider one cut and fitted into this gap. Then there was another stand which I completely cut up and made a sort of A-frame or a triangle frame, which is then bolted to the top of the other stand, so it sits on top of the original 6-tier stand, which is then angled at, I'm not sure what the degree is, but it's angled just right, so that I can rack 19-inch rack mount. So there's two 10-unit rack points on this side, to this side, which you can't see, but on one of the videos you can just see where the speakers are hanging off. There's another 12U rack mount and 3-tier section on the side, and to this left side is another A-frame, which has then been cut and hacked and started to adapt to go straight across on the top of that A-frame, with pieces coming off the side which will be going up and across the top to this bar over here, which will then make everything accessible. Basically like cocooning yourself in a massive electronic equipment.
Wow.
Basically.
So those rack units above your head, what the 2600 it's in, they're not the same as those desktop stands? You haven't just bolted a desktop stand to the top of your Jasper, have you? Is that what it is? It's something custom, is it? Dean's,
I was thinking.
Dean's got something. Hang on, let me just show you this.
Oh.
That?
No, it's not one. No.
Yes, no. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. So I was thinking, and it's kind of round that way.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's the idea, but it's not that. No. It's basically a. How can I? I don't know. Can I tell you what?
We can turn you upside down if you want, Darren.
Or seasick.
Oh, we love it.
So I need room in my studio already.
I've got to get the camera off the. There we go.
Let's turn Darren upside down.
Okay. How much cable have I got?
Nice acoustic treatment.
Right, so back wall. Let me just pull it down.
The Raven.
So that
Yeah.
fixed.
Ah,
That's
that's where the SH101 got
Right.
sent to.
Yeah. Then across the bar. Let's see. So your bar comes down there, across, which is still being built up. Eurorack.
MC.
Hey. TR8, nice.
See. Let's see. Yeah. So I've got this section here. Yeah. So here is the next 12U rack mount. So I might be able to show you this now. This is how this, if you see, it's a Jasper frame that I've built, and then in the Jasper frame I have the 19-inch rack mounts. If that's clear, I don't know whether it is.
It's really neatly done. You've done an exceptional job, mate. It looks so professionally done.
I come down here. So
There's your little monitors.
That's as far as I can pull out.
Yeah.
There's the monitors hanging off the frame. Yeah. And the same across there.
Yeah.
That's the same on that side. Oops. With the microphone. So I've got my microphone, which will be, move those that way. Microphone, which is actually connected to, and then this.
Well, that's a beastie.
So, and also down below it, it's a Mackie 30-channel mixer.
When did you get that? Have you always had that?
No. I've got that just after Christmas.
I was gonna say I don't remember you having that. Yeah.
And then another rack for
it has
another rack for effects, compressors and stuff under there, which is going to be built up to there. So that's another 19-inch rack hanging on. And then obviously the that's what the can't pull out any further, unfortunately. But yeah, so the two screens.
Yeah. Now just move the camera to the right. Just twist it to the right again, if you can. Yeah, just keep going a bit more, a little bit more. So there's that's where your Eurorack went to. Okay, cool. Yep. Now just a little bit more to the right. Just keep going, if you can. Right. Yeah, mate, you've got a whole bunch of space there. What are you doing? I'm just kidding.
That's what that bar's for. No, that's what that bar's for.
You don't need to leave.
Oh, and what where?
You can just piss in a bottle, mate.
I can, and that's what's in there.
Hey! With the freight crack in it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, let me just put this down.
Oh, that was worth it, wasn't it, guys?
Great job, Darren.
Hey? What a treat for us this week. We had Loki and then we had Darren's studio tour. What an awesome treat.
I've definitely not got enough gear. This is not fair. All you guys, all that stuff. And I've got a few boxes here.
It's called Gear Envy.
Piano and a Eurorack and a dead synth behind me.
Dead synth.
I've got an accordion I'm getting rid of, mate.
No, I don't want that.
Go to Hundy. Have a Hundy. Fantastic. Do you remember that meme where we put up? Do you remember the meme with the accordion? That was a good one, wasn't it? People go to hell.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, well, Darren, that's an amazing job. I mean,
it is.
Between you and Dean, I mean, honestly, not kidding. And Ramsey, obviously, you've been doing your designs, and I'm going, and I sit in my little room, and I just look around, going, I can't work it out in my head. I'm so hopeless. I mean, I can't begin to. I can't visualize how things work. You see, I mean, I just have to get it and then go, yeah, that worked. Oh no, I'm going to put that over there. Now I'll try that and move this. But it's interesting, Darren, the Jasper stands, because I've been, I mean, 2 months I thought, right, I'm going to get a Jasper, put it over here, long enough to put an 88 key keyboard on the bottom and then build it up. And now I'm thinking, no, I need a big table going along here, and I can better put my laptop, build it up that way. And now I'm thinking, I just need to go out and get a load of bleeding scaffolding. I don't know what to do. Oh, hey.
Basically, yeah.
Darren, you come round here and design my studio for me, Darren. You could set up a new business.
He could.
Oh,
He's done a bloody good job.
In a fortnight, you could. I'll tell you what, Darren. Maximising space. What a great idea. What a great thing.
Yeah. That's the thing that gets you thinking. When you've only got like a 6.5 by 6.5 room to get it in, then you start having to sort of try and, I mean, there's probably other ideas people can come up with, but I didn't want it to be too cluttered, as in the fact that it just looks like everything's just thrown in. But on the other hand, I wanted everything to be out of the way, but not out of the way, if you know what I mean. So it's all neatly there if I need it, but it's out of the way if I don't.
The ergonomics of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So more bits to build eventually, but it's all I can all build on top of it as well. That's what I wanted to make it for, so that if anything else starts coming in the studio when I get more money at some point, I can still add to it rather than just be going.
Yeah. It's incredibly brilliant use of space. I mean, like, you've got those rack units, you can put more in there. Your Eurorack's been put in a way that you can keep building that. You've got space to put, new. It's not a closed system, which is like as soon as I got the Eurorack case, which is down here, my immediate problem was, where does it look? It's still sitting on top of the piano stool right now. It's still sitting here. So I have to do something about that.
It's kind of like a frustration point, isn't it? Like, I understand what you're saying, Andy, because like with me right now, I'm kind of frustrated with the fact that I've got these Eurorack cases and they just keep going down in like this linear sort of thing, and I don't want them to be I don't want to work that way. I don't want to have to sort of move myself around like laterally. I want to sort of work vertically, and until I make my cases, it's not going to happen. So it's just like Darren. How long? I mean, Darren, that's probably taken you about 3 or 4 months? Probably 3 months, right? All up.
Yeah, but it probably wouldn't have took that long if I could have got some other stuff.
Because of the COVID.
Yeah, so it's hard to say how long it actually took me if I was to have all the stuff and build it. I had the idea for it before Christmas when I started in the first lockdown in November when I started taking the studio down. I had to wait. I think it was getting on I think I was in the second month before some of the stuff arrived, before I could even start building it. And because everything in this studio has to be taken out and then just put into a bedroom, I had to keep bringing it back in and out every time I did it. So I had to make sure that the stuff that came, I could actually cut and build and put in one go. So it was a bit of a tricky thing that way. I couldn't just leave the studio empty and then build it as is. It had to be all put back in, all taken back out, all put back in, all taken back out every time either some Jasper stuff arrived or whatever, or cables or anything that was coming out to wait before I took everything back in. That's why I had to have the blanket up, because it was an absolute pain to keep taking it in and out, especially with a 6-foot studio. I mean, some of the stuff won't fit through the door. It has to be built half out, brought in, the other half brought in, and then built into the space that's actually there. So I couldn't do it any other way.
Azio has said, did you label it all? Did you get the labeling machine out and label everything? Or did you forget?
No, but I tell you what, there was some points when I thought I should have done.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. And I mean,
always.
Dean, you would have gone through some headaches as well, mate. I mean, like, yours is all kind of starting to come together nicely now, but I'm sure the COVID's probably put a few spanners in the works for you to get all your stuff together.
Yeah, it was like in the building phase of having to wait. We're kind of cutting the cladding up, and the shelving would turn up, and the cladding hadn't turned up, and then falling short of materials. That was a real nightmare. Yeah. When I kind of one pack of wood short because I underestimated the actual pitch and the roof. But it's been real fun. It's real fun because as I'm going along, I'm a bit like Darren. I keep finding little places He's talking. I think the meme earlier. My favourite meme was about finding places for equipment and stuff, and you get really creative. Yeah, and it's like now, like at the back there, I've got that wooden shelf you see at the back there, and it's all the guitar pedals. So I've got that, managed to fit that there, and I've now got 2 speakers over in the corner and here and at back. So I'm constantly, and even on my mixer right in front of me here, I've got these 2 little bits of wood, and I put a shelf on it. And it's just like finding gaps. You won't see no wood after this. That'll be it soon.
I think what you've done with your effects pedals behind you there is a good idea. Like I actually want to do something where I need to actually get, because all my effects pedals are in those little, I showed it when we were doing the Studio Hacks show, where I've got them in those IKEA drawers, and I just pull them out and use them as I need. But I actually wouldn't mind having a lot more of them out permanently, actually plumbed in. Like what you've got there is a cool idea, how it's all on a little shelf there. That's a good idea. I like that.
Well, it's I kind of obviously got all the synths in first, and I thought I wanted a little section there for like guitars. I mean, I play a little bit myself, but I'm not majorly a guitarist too much, and so it's just having a nice section all down that end really is where the guitar bit is. And like for Steve when he comes round, because he's going to have his own section here, and have a little pull-out shelf to the right of me is where like a few drums, percussion instruments are and everything like that. So it's not nice sectioned off now. There's a little places for everything. So the boots.
And the boots. yeah. Okay, now which button is the button I need to press to go to here? Hey, that's the right one. Right, now there was a couple other
the red one.
Yeah, the red one, the exploding button. There was a couple other things I wanted to quickly mention to everyone, and that is don't forget about Discord. So I am kind of pushing Discord during the week. We do have quite a good bunch of people who chat all the way through the week, because the show is only once a week, and there's things that people want to talk about. There's rooms, there's synth and gear, memes, price watch. There's a little room there for you to post your music in. So that's the Discord. And if you're wondering how to get to Discord, I should have got this earlier. Where did I have that? I thought I put that up. I did. Here it is. You just need this address, bit.ly/Renzi Discord, and that will take you straight to the website on how to get yourself in. And once you're in, you'll arrive at this general channel, which you're seeing right now. So it's all pretty easy. So make sure you do check that out. And also the other thing I've been doing is I have been pushing, mainly because a lot of my videos that I do now are just all non-monetized because of all the crap we've had to put up with. So I do have Patreon. I do want to see if I can grow this. I want this. It's been a bit quiet, so I do want to get this to grow. It's only a buck or something to get in. And what I do want to do with this is kind of get sort of some more stuff happening with the channel and the show, and obviously I can't do that just by funding it myself. So that's the whole purpose of Patreon. These live streams aren't paid. I don't have any ads running on them or anything like that. So there's literally no money that comes in for doing these shows. So that's really the only way that's going to support the show. So do check out Patreon. It's just patreon.com/Ranzi, easy one to remember. And while we're at it, I thought we'd probably plug Twitter as well. It's something that I haven't been that good with Twitter. I don't know whether it's, anyway, I'm trying to be good with Twitter now. So if you're a Twitter person, you can find me on Twitter as well. And when I say it's me, it's really more, it's not really about me. It's more this show that it's all kind of linked to this show that we do every week. And so when I talk about stuff, I'm not talking about me personally. It's more sort of connecting everyone that watches this. So that's kind of all of that stuff. Now I just want to double check to see if there was anything I forgot, because there was quite a lot today. Oh yes, there was one thing we forgot. We forgot this segment. We can't forget this segment. It stops, of course, doesn't it? Oh, you stupid segment. And it's the world's longest stinger, and we're going to have to be longer now. All right, we got through it. I don't know why it's doing that. I need to ask the developers why it's doing that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The first one that came up is completely unrelated to synths, but geez, this is a good one. I mean, wow. Have you ever bought a HDMI cable? Jeez. Have you ever bought a $14,000 HDMI cable? What the heck? This thing must be like pooping gold nuggets out of the bottom of it or something. I don't know what it's doing. Wow, that is not bad at all. It had to go on the show.
And then you plug it into
It's surely that's got to be a typo in
£200
there,
TV.
surely.
It's not a typo. It's some, it's made by Unicorn Babies or something. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I had to show that one. The chatties will have a field day with that one. But yes, what we did forget to do, we forgot to check out the auction. Yes, it's still going. And guess what? It's cracked the 21K. Yeah, we're up to 21K now. I would, to be honest though, I was surprised that it hasn't gone higher than that, because it was kind of covering just under 18K last week. So it hasn't gone up that much. And it's been, I will admit, it's been sitting at 21K probably for a couple of days now. And there's only 2 days left. You can see it clicking away there. So what do you guys think?
It's still a lot of money, even for wealthy people, to consider splashing out on a synth that might break down next week.
A couple of people were sort of saying that there was going to be 35K. So I don't know if they're going to quite get there.
22.
Yeah, it might stay at 21. Looks like it's been sitting at 21. I wonder if it's going to be like the eBay auctions where it all just goes crazy in the last 10 seconds. Have you guys ever done that?
50 grand.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? You just sit there and you just watch the prices go in the last 10 seconds, and it's just like, how are you even supposed to do that?
I handy that I found in my thing. This is a little rarity. If you can see this, this is a TB303 pitch shifter.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen it. I mean, I can't remember. I think it might come from a magazine when the 303 come out.
I got one in my Roland boutique TB03 box.
Right. Okay. So this is a little piece of plastic, basically. That's all it is. Right.
Yeah.
2 levels of bits of plastic. And I was looking for this, and I'm reckoning it's around. The last one sold was about £130 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
And I haven't found one since, and I just thought how crazy that this could be like £150 for this 2 pieces of plastic.
That'll get you Behringer synth.
Factory.
That'll get you Behringer synth, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's me RD9. Oh no, the TR9, isn't it? The new one.
That is brilliant. Oh yeah. Watch the Fat Potato website. He'll be flogging that one. Beautiful. All right, guys.
Those with Spanish verb tables on.
Now I do want to ask one little favour from everyone, and that is that can everyone who's watching the show please give Loki a thumbs up, because I thought that was really, really cool of him coming on. That's the actual physical button that you press on the YouTube thing, you know what I mean, the thumbs up one, yeah. I thought it was really, really cool of him to come on. He's a busy man, and he's involved. If you go and have a look at those videos on his website, you will see some of the people that he's bumping shoulders with around the world. So our little humble show, we got him on, which I thought was pretty cool. And the other thing that was I was kind of a little bit sort of, freaking out is in a good way, because he's a fellow synth geeky guy like us, and here he is. He's making effects modules, and I just thought his little story was a great one, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was cool, and it was good to sort of to click in with him and get to sort of see behind the scenes. I liked it when he did that. As seasicky as we got, it was actually cool to have a little tour around his workshop, wasn't it? That was pretty cool. So
yeah.
Send him some love, do some thumbs up for him, and obviously I'm going to send him a copy of the video once it's all done. He's probably snoring his head off now. Thankfully, it was so late for him. I think we started streaming, it was already after midnight, so poor guy. And I know that he's got a lot of work on his plate at the moment, because he wants to get the Hector module out, and he's got orders galore for the Bebo pedal. So they're selling really well.
It's amazing. He's selling them all over the world, and yet it's a cottage industry. That
it is, yeah.
Him and his partner making them, screwing them together, spray painting them. Oh, sorry, he's got a different anodize or whatever it was called. I'm thinking, God blimey. So I mean, it may be, obviously they're not shipping thousands and thousands and thousands of units. So they would have to be factory produced that way. They're obviously being hand built. And
it kind of it puts it in perspective too. Like we have we have expectations as users, right? And we kind of don't really get to see the other side of it. Like even companies, like he was actually talking about like the bigger manufacturers like Roland and Korg when he was talking about ordering, I think he was talking about ordering the screens or something at the time, right? And he was saying even those companies would not be ordering enough.
Small fry.
They were small. Yeah. So, I mean, our little synth world, our industry in the synth world is actually quite small. So yeah, it was definitely really cool. Yeah. Much appreciate all the chatties that were on the show today. Always, you guys are awesome to have. It's always the same people each week, and we do get a few new ones coming in and sticking around too, so it's always good to see the new people coming in. Make sure if you do watch this show, you do jump into the chat and say hello to everyone, because we're a friendly bunch. So I didn't actually get a chance to say hello to all you guys individually, but I do apologise. I promise I'll do that next week. You guys will understand that we had to get straight into doing the show with Loki this week. And the other thing that I think we might start doing is I think we might just start cracking the show straight away instead of doing that 15-minute pre-show, because I think we've ironed out all the bugs and stuff. A lot of that stuff is from early days. So
are you sure, Rand? You're very
well. You know, if we have issues, we have issues. You know,
I think you've not just jinxed yourself.
Maybe I have. But if we have issues, we're going to have issues. There's nothing really you can do about it. Like a couple of weeks ago, I had issues with the ISP. There's really not much I can do about that from here, even though everything was working beautifully here. But yeah, other than that, I think it's kind of worth doing it straight away, and that way we've got an extra 15 minutes. You know, instead of us just talking about crap for 15 minutes and then actually starting the show properly. So I just kind of feel that it's better to do it anyway.
He says he enjoys the
He enjoys the pre-show?
He enjoys the pre-show.
Well, I mean, we're kind of doing the pre-show now, aren't we? We're kind of doing it now. So it's the same thing. So, but yeah, no, I do enjoy it as well. But if we do start it now, you guys are about to hit the new time zones, right? Are you guys going to be turning off your daylight savings coming up soon?
Next weekend? Is it next weekend?
Or turning on? You'll be turning on your daylight savings. Yeah.
We'll be going forward.
Yeah, we'll be
forward, so we lose an hour. So it'll be quarter to.
So it'll be quarter to 3 at our end.
What do you guys want me to do? I mean, my time doesn't change all year long. So I mean, you guys in the UK, you change, and you guys in the US change as well. Do you guys want me to start the show so that it's still the same time? It doesn't adjust when you're actually watching it, or do you want to play it by the UTC clock, which is what I've been doing for the past 2 years? Everyone's saying save the pre-show. Okay. All right.
Oh, save the pre. Okay.
All right.
The bit of banter's always got.
Don't change it. Okay, we'll leave it there.
Yeah. If it's an hour late, it makes no difference to you to do it, but it will be an hour earlier for us.
It will, because
if we still do it at 1:45, therefore it's got to be an hour earlier for you. You've got to start an hour earlier too. Surely.
Well,
if it's going to be
one of us has to do an hour earlier, whether it's all of you guys or just me. So. You know, if I do it,
we can stay at 1:45, and you would have to start an hour earlier, which is probably better for you. But is that going to be better for the United States? I've no idea what happens in America. Oh, I can't work it out.
Well, someone was telling me, and I don't know who it was, and it's probably someone that's sitting in the chat room right now, was telling me during the week that they believe this is the last time they're going to be doing daylight savings in a lot of the US states. They reckon it's completely on the nose over there. They're completely sick of it. So
they keep mentioning it here. Is there any point really? Does it actually achieve anything in this modern age? It was all to do with getting the crops in during the First World War or something. I can't remember. It's a very old-fashioned thing. And does it help?
We have lights. I mean, the world we live in now, we have lights. It's really completely unrelated, right?
You can go floodlight a field. Got the potatoes in, folks. It's dark, but go on. It's still need that potato.
Exactly.
I don't know. Don't leave it.
don't joke.
They're fat ones, mate.
Those market people, they work 24/7. They literally work 24/7 now. Those marketing people, market garden people. What am I saying?
I don't know. I mean, it's got to be your call, Rans. At the end of the day, you know, you're the moderator.
I just wanted to get a feel. What do the chatties want to do? Do you guys want me to keep it so that where you are, it's the same time, or do you want me to just keep it at the UTC advertised time and you guys have to adjust? Tell me in the chat, what would you prefer? Because we come across this every year. This is the 3rd year now that I've been doing this show. So so far, what I've been doing in the past is I've been doing it so it sticks to the UTC clock, which means that you will literally have to come. Is it an hour later on the show? Is that how it works? Hour earlier, hour later? I forget.
An hour later.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us it'll be an hour later.
You guys will have the show. And it changes. Yeah, it doesn't change next week. It changes the week after. So yeah, I know we know that, but we do. Like I'm planning ahead. I'm not talking about next week. So, I'm actually talking about permanently.
It doesn't make any difference to me. I mean, I'm the free agent, but you know, to the other guys who've got, you know, family and kids, and I mean, Darren, you might be having to start, you know, be working on Saturday mornings and things. I've no idea. So.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make any difference to me. It just means I don't know. It doesn't make really much difference. It just means I start an hour later on the show. It's not like we're finishing at midnight, is it? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's me that's finishing at midnight. Well, it's already midnight. It's 12 here. Look, that doesn't worry me.
So is it Rans wants to finish a bit earlier or start a bit earlier?
See, I'm easy.
Really?
I'm easy myself.
Look, most of you guys will get the message. I mean, all of you guys are probably seeing the thumbnail graphic that I put on each of the YouTube videos. I usually release it sort of halfway through the week, and I start putting it up on the socials around then as well. And this particular week, you would have noticed that I didn't have the 2 p.m. Little triangle in the corner. I had 1:45, and that was because we had Loki coming on. And I was sort of talking about it in the text as well. But yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too. We probably shouldn't be advertising it at 2 p.m. We should be advertising at 1:45. If we, you know, the pre-show is. It sounds to me like you guys don't want me to change it. So the pre-show looks like it's a cool thing to keep. Yeah.
Keep the pre-show.
It gives a little buffer for people if they are a bit late or there are technical issues, and there's just the.
Or you go for
me around.
Drink.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got to go and get a beer. Thanks, Dean. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right.
I'm bringing the water, but.
Maybe we can keep talking about it in the Discord channel during the week, and we'll see if we can come up with an answer. Everyone's sort of they're not fussed either way, so that seems to. If you look at the chatties, they're all sort of not fussed either way. That's good. It's not like there's another show that gets in the way. I know a couple of people that like to be regular on here. Someone's phone's ringing. Is that yours, Darren? Take a drink, mate. Is it? It's the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can answer
it. That just happened to me. I thought it was mine on the delay.
Okay, answer it, mate.
Your dinner's ready, Darren.
You can answer it.
New scaffold delivery.
Hello. I'm sorry.
It's just the Ministry of Defence. Who's nicked our control station?
My dad used to answer
I'll tell you
the phone.
if I think.
I was going to say, my dad used to answer the phone. It was really, really silly. All right, Darren, you go first.
I've got some earbuds, right? Some cheap earbuds, which are really, really cool. And I forgot that they linked to my phone when it started ringing. So I was looking around the room, wondering where it was coming from, and it's coming from the earbuds. So yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's on the phone. Yeah.
Hey, so do any of you guys, when you answer the phone, do any of you
see
guys
what
say?
Inverted's put.
Oh, what did he put? Delivery of a park bench. The Bastel comment. Yes. He's probably got some in his backyard.
Bench,
I reckon he's got one in his backyard. He goes out there.
I've been accused of nicking them. Park benches are going missing.
Yeah, you tell us it was Jasper's. It wasn't really. It was the public property
Oh,
of Manchester GMC, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
You've got a park bench up to an angle. You've got a frame.
So let's make it clear. Next week the show's on at the normal time. But in between, like that, so that's not changing because your daylight savings doesn't change until the Sunday after. But what we'll do is we'll make a decision between now and the next show about whether I start an hour earlier, which means you guys are still starting at the same time after the clock changes, or not. I'm kind of leaning towards making a change my end so that you guys can just keep going, rocking on the same way. And it means that technically it means that I'll start the show an hour earlier, which means that it won't be up so late. So it's probably a win-win for both of us.
That's got to be better for you, Rans.
Yeah.
Really.
All right.
I was thinking too, just quickly, it was just a lot of people don't like change. I'm just thinking of the chatties and if they've got arrangements, so the regulars. In that sense, that's all I thought. But I'm happy either way. So.
Well, like I said, it's been 2 years like this, so this is the third year now, so we'll see what happens, eh? Yeah. All right, we are going to wrap it up. Thanks everyone for being on the show, and say your goodbyes. I'm going to start with Darren. Plug for your video.
Okay. Video. I think tomorrow I'll just do some more shots of the studio because I've been working on the album still, so I've not had a chance to sort everything out. So yeah, I'll just rig up a tune in a few minutes and just do some shots of the studio. I think in better light.
Okay, that sounds exciting. And that button doesn't work because that was Loki. And then we've got Dean. Plug for anything happening this week, mate.
Yeah, cool. First, I want to compete with the guest today with Andrew, and best dressed and coolest dressed is my 80s glasses. He's got pixelation problems. I think pixelation problems there, Rand.
Yeah.
But
it's your end,
I
mate.
tried my best for that. All right.
It's your
Yeah. Fatpotato.uk website, and which is really the cooler thing as well that I'm really enjoying is on the Facebook group. So if you go to fatpotatostudio.uk, we've got a lot of great people in there, like reviewers and artists and session players, and a couple of people who've like had hits and been on hits and things. And it's just a really nice group where we're sharing a lot of content on there, and it's more accessible and connections. So yeah, that's been really good fun. And you know, there's drum clinic things going on by Steve, and I'm like said nicking all his timings, and it's just random little stuff, interviews.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, and it's on a daily basis, so there's something going on there. So it keeps it's like a little bit of a come with us, and we did actually trying to work out the live Facebook thing, and it was really funny because we're both sitting there having a cup of coffee talking into this thing, and we wasn't even on.
You're a wally.
We'll get that right next week.
All right, awesome. So check that out, guys. And Andy's got. If you haven't noticed, Andy's got a new camera, and I have to admit,
really.
it actually looks nicer.
Yeah, I haven't really. It's not mine. I did borrow it from work, and it will have to go back. I may be able to persuade them to let me have one, but I have just borrowed it. I don't want anyone to think accusing me of stealing things from work. Yeah, it's got to go back to the IT guys on Monday. But I just wanted to try it out, see how much better this thing was up here than the one.
It's definitely better. It looks clearer.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's not. I mean, it is just a webcam.
Yeah.
You know, and it is actually only a 720 webcam, but it seems.
It's good enough.
It's obviously chucking out more information because my computer's whirring away like Billy-O. It's not done that for a while. So, well. So other than that, not much really to. I'm not. Whenever I can be asked doing something, but like I said, I'm still playing with my new modules down here. I might chuck up a thing later in the week if I can. Get something going that I'm happy with. I've just enjoyed just faffing about with it. Really, it's coming together the way I want it to. So it's nice. Now I'm making more plans, and the rack. I mean, can I pick it up? Now it's all. There's not an awful lot of space left in it, which is really chuffing scary. Already. Oh, we've only got about 40 HP left now.
Well, you can just go on the roof
like
Darren did.
I have to get another one. Build it up. Yeah, build it all around me.
Darren's
got ways in which you can stack two Go cases. I think actually Mac in the chat, he sent me, I think, something via Facebook a while ago of somebody who'd used tip-top linking things to actually link to Behringer Go cases and just, so yeah, that might be something to go up. But at the minute, the priority is actually working out how I arrange stuff in here. That I've got to do that. I think the first thing is make an actual decision: is am I going to go the Jasper stands, or am I just going to go for a nice big table?
They're all calling you an
thinking
addict.
Nice big table.
They're all calling you an addict.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
not going away.
I was just going to say that Darren's next move is that he's just going to tunnel into the wall and he's going to start eating into the neighbour's property. That will be that'll be where he'll go next. They won't even know.
Well, if they go that way, I go out of the house.
They'll just start seeing synths appear through their walls. Yeah, you know, can't be a bad thing.
It's a new computer. The new computer will be coming. I think I've been looking at sort of like incomings and outgoings and how much I can stick aside. But I'm reckoning in a couple of months it will be the new computer will be that I'll go, right, okay, I'm going to do it now. I've got my savings pot and I just don't want to let it drop below a certain amount, so I've got to keep building it up again. So anyway,
well,
being very sensible.
We're going to say goodbye.
We're investing in a vintage synth.
Say goodbye, everyone. See you later. Bye.
See you, folks.
Take care, everyone.
See you next week.
Bye.
Catch you later.